the people, for the people. But the people are retarded.
Developing through technology an ability for consumers to measure their own carbon footprint. What does that mean? That's where are they traveling? How are they traveling? What are they eating? What are they consuming on the platform? So individual carbon footprint tracker.
We recognize different ages for different purposes. We recognize 18 for the draft. We recognize 16 for driving in some states. We recognize 21 for drinking. So we recognize different ages for different purposes. That's all I wanted to say.
Thank you, Mr.
Could
Chairman.
I have a second to engage that?
Certainly. I'll yield to the gentleman from Kentucky.
Would the chairman join me in co-sponsoring a bill to raise the draft age to 21?
No.
But the chairman feels that their brains aren't fully formed at 18, 19, and 20.
The research does indicate that in certain respects, but the Selective Service needs, I mean, if the country needs people, it needs people.
It needs people whose brains aren't fully formed?
In certain respects, yes.
I yield back.
I'll lead an effective strategy to mobilize true international effort to pressure.
America is a nation that can be defined in a single word. I was going to put him. What do we do now?
Back to them, or do you want to stay with Donald Trump?
Fuck Joe Biden.
Refuse to go along with this, and I'm seeing through all of your lies, Barack Obama, you wicked, wicked devil!
Welcome back to another night of Stick with Koolfrogg. Yeah, everybody else will be shortly. Looks like they're shutting down over by the expert at the moment. Hello, T in Tennessee. How's it going? We're gonna slowly move into this night because there's gonna be different people that are gonna pop in and out at different times. I threw a bunch of links out to other people. I may actually just throw one out to everybody as we get going here. There's Jimmy YouTube. What's up, Jimmy?
Oh, saw dude.
Hello, Susie. Yeah, going pretty good. We're just gonna slowly move our way through some of these politics that we're gonna talk about here, because that's what we do. We talk politics.
We do? Oh,
Yes.
yeah, we do.
What's
We
up,
do, yeah, we do.
AmericaShirts?
Yo.
Good. I won't be on long. It's all right, Susie. Either way, if hang out as long as you'd like. Just don't forget to hit that
Hello,
like
Susie.
button on your way through. There you go, Susie. So, a few things that I found kind of interesting for the day that we can, cover. The AOC and the crew all getting arrested, and this explosion that happened in the Hoover Dam. I thought it was very interesting, and I wanted to dig further into it and see if I couldn't find more information on what exactly happened.
Oh, I know what happened with that. I was
Yeah.
listening to a guy that was over there that lives in Las Vegas, and they were really freaking out, some of them, because it's like, holy crap, if that actually was a bomb that went off there, Las Vegas, places in Las Vegas and other places on and through where the river goes would get flooded, and then there would be no water left.
Was this the dirty bomb?
It was supposedly like something with like a very big fuse or something like that within it. It was an electronic thing off to the side, not the actual dam itself, but like off to the, the structure, obviously the part that's keeping the water in. That part didn't have an explosion. It was off to the side where they have the concrete that you can see off on the sides of the canyon area, right? And like it was off to one of those sides where they had some electric stuff, and one of those things blew, and so that's where the smoke was coming from. Allegedly, now, if the story has changed, I'm not aware of it. But yeah. You see what I'm saying? Right there.
Oh, Hannah.
See, like it's not the actual dam itself, but it's at the bottom. and it was an electrical thing.
That's where
Supposedly.
they're
But
holding Megatron in there.
yeah, right. But still big enough to, you know, that can be scary when this is like a major source of energy for that area. ABC is
Transformer,
saying
yeah.
it's a
It was a
transformer.
transformer.
Not a
I
fuse,
fucking
transformer.
told you. I fucking told you. ABC.
Folks,
I told you it was Megatron.
Oh, that's what
Something's just blown out.
Excuse me.
Something has just blown out.
No shit. It's just like something
He's like,
just blew up.
everybody
Like,
get your
really?
camera out of your pocket and, you know, make sure that you get a good photo so that way everybody knows.
Yeah, you know,
keeping
don't
it
call
cool,
somebody
cool.
to help or anything.
What's up, Dwight?
Right.
Hey, what up? We were just talking about epoxying bodies, weren't we, Zombie?
Epoxy. What was that about?
You don't want to know.
We were talking about
okay.
epoxying floors and shit on Experts channel, and then it got to like tables, and then Experts like, man, I want to be like preserved in that.
Freaking expert.
And I told him he was a weird dude.
Oh, hello.
See, that's what I thought, Susie. And that's when like, she says, I went to the dam and was not allowed to film there for anything. No cameras or phones allowed on the site. That's what I always thought, that you wouldn't be able to actually do what they're actually doing.
They could have
I
been
thought it was
workers,
kinda-
Susie.
Could be.
They could have been just staff there, like whatever, you know.
This is saying tourists at the Hoover Dam shared video Tuesday showing a small explosion.
Oh, tourists, huh? Weird.
Right.
Maybe
That's
in
what I'm
the
like,
maybe in the confusion or whatever they got through with a phone or something. I don't know. Or maybe they just let phones in now. Not even they are allowed. Weird. They are hiding transformers over there. You guys, this is a big deal. We need to go there and get the Allspark. It's a huge source of power. We could totally avoid a lot of big crises in the future. Let's just get it done.
Should make a movie about that. While we're at it.
I think Michael Bay might have something to say about it.
Probably.
yeah, I just thought this was very interesting. Like something just blown up. A woman heard saying, as the video first shared, who said she was touring the dam Tuesday and heard an explosion. A male's voice, perhaps a security guard on tour, is also heard noting the explosion and fire in the dam below. An account of Boulder City, Nevada, later tweeted that the fire was extinguished before the Boulder City Fire Department arrived on the scene, which fire department's always going to still show no matter what.
Oh, yeah.
Just to be sure everything's all, you know, good and whatnot. So this is the Bureau of Reclamation, the federal agency under the U.S. Department of Interior, which runs the Hoover Dam, said that the transformer caught on fire. It was extinguished by the Reclamation Hoover Fire Brigade around 30 minutes later. There are no injuries to visitors or employees. There's no risk of the power grid, and power is still being generated from the powerhouse. We're investigating the cause of the fire and will provide additional updates as it is available. So obviously this still hasn't been updated. This is Fox News or whatever. This is 2:41 p.m. today, Eastern time. Why they use Eastern time? They're not even in the Eastern time zone. Stupid. The Hoover Dam, constructed about 1930 to 1936, sits in the Black Canyon of the Colorado River at the border between Nevada and Arizona, is the highest concrete arc dam in the United States. I mean, it really is. It's a very popular place. There's a lot of people that go through there. And when you're going through the area, as opposed to taking, you know, whatever, a lot of people stop and check it out, you know, especially if they've never seen it before. Hello, Chicken Man. The dam forms Lake Mead, the country's largest man-made water reservoir, which serves water to the states of Arizona, California, Utah, Colorado, and Nevada, as well as parts of Mexico. It provides fresh water for nearly 20 million people and farmland. So, I mean, attack on that would actually, devastate a lot.
Yeah, the desert would become fully desert again.
Nicholas Taylor says the globalists are attacking.
Right. I mean, I don't think this is necessarily a strategy to go after anybody. I mean, if they really wanted to do something, they would. This was just a thing. But they honestly don't need to because, again, the diesel engines, they're not going to have any diesel engine oil to run. I was just watching another thing on that earlier today. And that means no gasoline. It means no transportation of food, and of course, food shortages. Just the food itself, without it. I mean, even if the trucks were going, there's going to be food shortages just by itself. And so there's all these other dominoes, inflation, the works. I mean, they don't even need to do that. They don't need to put on a big display like that at all. That's not they just don't need that. But anyway.
Susie says, I went to the one in BC by Revelstoke. Just saying it was worse than being pat down by the cops. They wanted you to carry nothing.
Oh, British Columbia? Well, that's in Kanakistan. And
right.
That's the second hermit kingdom. So, probably did.
I agree, Dwight. If they really wanted to do something, the dam wouldn't actually still exist. They would actually, hit it, dead on center. They wouldn't go on and just struck some little transformer. But still kind of interesting if you haven't heard that, something actually happened at the Hoover Dam. See meat processing fires in Hoover Dam. Bill Gates buying up the arable land. We're at the end of times.
Well,
Thanks for the black pill, Nicholas.
I mean, I make black pills and give them to people to eat and drink with,
Okay,
I
Bill.
give people a lot of pills, because it's really, you ought to be on all of these different things like psychedelics and all, but really anything from Bayer Pharmaceuticals is really going to be good for you to have 5 times a day probably.
Dwight says I'm gonna go with being a transformer or whatever. I'm with shirts on this one. Well, we're all on the same. Nobody attacked it. I don't think it was attack. I think it was just an explosion, something that just so happened to happen.
Nobody thinks it's Megatron.
Oh my lord, that's awesome! People love that voice, Bill Gates. AmericaShirts is just,
because people love me, actually. It's really, they love the Bill Gates,
It's the pink sweater.
It is. It really, it really is I really think it's those cashmere sweaters. It really, really does the job on people's minds,
Dwight says
starting to sound more like Tommy Chong.
Well, it's not easy being Bill Gates,
man, I smoke some reefer every now and again, and I become Rasta Gates, man.
Well, I've passed the weed and things like that. I'm on the DMT mode, and
I like that ambrosia.
Yeah, well, we won't, we won't go too far into that now. We won't go over there in
we really should.
That area.
Nicholas says
but
Gets them going.
What's false advertising, Dwight? What are you getting at? Is someone channeling Tommy Chong? Yes. Jimmy can channel just about anybody he wants.
He says, talented. Calm down, Joe Rogan. We go to these Burning Man festivals, and we talk to the interdimensional elves and things.
I want to
Some
smoke.
people call them like devils and evil angels and things, but I like to imagine them as like pointy-eared elves.
I want to smoke DMT with Joe Rogan and the chimps.
Toy zombie, come on, man.
Come on, man.
Come on, man.
So you guys kind of covered this a little bit. I kind of heard Shirts come in and try giving away the show for the night. Let everybody know.
It wasn't my idea. It was Jimmy's.
Ocasio-Cortez, Omar roasted for pretending to be handcuffed after SCOTUS arrest. They seriously pretended to put their hands behind their back, and then as they were walking away, they threw up a fist of power because they're.
And then went and
fascists
proceeded
like
to
that.
put their hands back behind their backs in a ooh, I'm being arrested with my hands behind my back mode, like they have handcuffs.
With the cheesy ass grin on their faces. They're like, haha, look at my fascism.
This was amazing.
This particular article, this is from the Daily Caller. It says Democratic reps Alexandria Ocasio-Cortez, New York, and Ilhan Omar of Minnesota were roasted on social media Tuesday for appearing to fake being handcuffed by police after arrested for blocking traffic outside the Supreme Court. Ocasio-Cortez, Omar, as well as reps Cori Bush of Missouri, Ayanna Pressley of Massachusetts, and members of the far-left group known as the Squad were arrested at a pro-abortion protest Tuesday afternoon. At least 17 members of Congress were arrested. Yeah, right, they were arrested. Video showed Ocasio-Cortez and Omar being led away from the group by police. One video shows Ocasio-Cortez placing her hands behind her back as if she were handcuffed, only to raise her right hand in a fist seconds later. She's pretending to be handcuffed, does a power fist, and goes back to pretending to be handcuffed with a cheesy ass grin on her face. It was ridiculous. Oh, I don't want to go to Twitter to watch it, but I guess I have to. How stupid. See, look at her cheesy grin. She's like, look at me. I'm being arrested.
Stunning and brave, everybody.
And then she goes back to I mean, like, honest to God. And then there's Ilhan Omar that does the same damn shit. And then there's not even a cop around her, and she's just walking out in the open with her hands behind her back like she's being handcuffed, and there's literally no one there. It's like they're just following a script, like, okay, we're all getting arrested, so everybody, like, do this shit thing, whatever. And it's just like, what the hell? They don't even have
It's pretty cool that they were able to orchestrate the police with the, to actually, look like they were actually arresting them. Because, if they were actually going to arrest anybody in particular, they usually use, zip ties or handcuffs and actually, handcuff them regardless to the situation because they just don't know if you're going to be dangerous or not. So to me, it looked orchestrated. Nicholas says, who would you rather fuck, Ilhan Omar or AOC? Neither. Absolutely none of them.
Yeah, you don't stick your dick in crazy.
Just never.
I mean, it's just incredible.
I was going to say, I thought there was another that actually showed.
There it is. Ilhan Omar is placed in invisible handcuffs to still allow full range of motion.
See if this one actually shows.
And then watch this. Watch this. There she goes. No cop
Smiling
around.
away.
No cop holding their arms or
And
anything, just hands behind their back.
And then watch her.
It's like, is
Like,
anybody looking? Oh,
yeah. It's
throw
like,
up a
what the
fist.
hell?
Yeah.
Nah, sorry, Dwight. I don't fuck sellouts. Dwight's fucking up
Let's
in the
throw
chat.
up a fascist fist, because, throwing up fascist fists are awesome.
I mean, it's just amazing. Like, do they think that we are supposed to take this seriously? Like, honest to God. Like, holy shit. Like, there's no handcuffs. She's walking out in the middle of the open, and there's not even a cop around. No cops. No police officer does anything with her. She just gets up and starts walking with her hands behind her back.
Nicholas
like,
says,
I'm being around
that
here.
wasn't an option. Gun to your head, AOC's dirty ass, or Elon Omar's brother ravaged puss.
Pull the trigger. Pull the motherfucking trigger. Pull the
Just give
trigger.
me the gun, man. Give me the gun. That's all that needs to happen. It did say something about there were 14 Democrats that were actually there. I seem to be overlooking that particular article that actually said that. And pretty much all the younger Democrats were all there. Anybody that was part of this, I don't know what they call their little group.
Baby killers?
I can't think of the.
I think
that's not what they call themselves. Yeah, that's the more appropriate.
Well, nobody
one.
asks them what they call themselves.
The squad. The squad is what they call themselves.
Oh yes, that squad.
Yeah. Just trying to see. There was one or 17 House Democrats, including Ocasio, Omar, Tlaib, were all arrested. So 17 of them. They should all be removed from their positions immediately. If you're arrested while you're in Congress, you no longer get to be in Congress. That's my thought. Go ahead and remove them from their positions immediately.
Yeah, Dwight's here. He's like, it's theater. It's like, yeah, of course it is. But like, I mean, do they honestly expect that the rest of us should feel sorry for them and then like somehow give them some kind of credence or give them some sort of, a trophy? Like, what the hell? This is so bad. This is so enormously bad. Like, it's so fake. It's so cringy. It's like, oh my God. Like, this isn't even, they're not even trying. It's just like, oh, this is the part where we do this. Okay. Yes, girl. Everyone loves me. Everyone's going to vote for me. Yes.
Such a scam. It shows what kind of people they are. Like, if you cannot see through this, then I don't know. If you're fans of this, what are you doing?
Sitting around smoking something that you shouldn't be, I guess, and watching Netflix.
Injecting something.
Probably yes. Yes, they're injecting things. That's more accurate. Yes, they're sitting around with needles. Of various
says,
kinds.
I really think West Coast and East Coast needs to be its own country. I mean, some say that it should be broke up into 7 or 9 different, jurisdictions as opposed to just being, the United States of America or whatever. There's so many people that want Texas to secede from the Union. They might actually get other states like Louisiana to actually go with them. It's just, there's always something.
That's kind of stupid to give away all of your shoreline and then just be like, oh yeah, we're just going to be this landlocked country. And then California just goes like, oh, hi, China, how are you? And they just like wash their ass in. Like, I think that's kind of like, I don't think that's a very smart move. I mean, not that would actually happen. I'm just saying, theoretically speaking, I don't think that would be a very intelligent thing to push for. But at any rate, I do hear a lot of people talk like that. They're like, oh yeah, it's like, but you're giving up your entire shoreline. Like, wouldn't you you want to just become this weird landlocked country like that? And then how much of the East Coast or how much of the West Coast and how far inland does that go? Like what? Like, yeah. Anyway.
No, I was just trying. I've seen a here this one, Nicholas. Koolfrogg, you're just mad you can't date her. I'm happily married. I really don't have any interest in anybody else. Seriously, no interest whatsoever. Easement shirts? I don't know what he's getting at.
Huh?
I really don't know. Dragon Man just put up a easement shirts. I don't know what he's.
Easement. Oh.
I don't know what he's actually saying there.
I don't know either.
Nicholas says rising sea levels can't come soon enough. Bye bye NYC. Bye bye LA. That's the fun one, is if you actually go and look around or whatever and look at pictures from hundreds of years ago to what there are now, it doesn't look like anything's changed. Real Americans get passage to Pacific Ocean. I guess. Dude is making a shot at AOC for something she said at Republicans when she was in Florida and caught the coof. She was saying reps were mad they couldn't date her. Yeah, I remember her saying that. She's disgusting and very misunderstood because, you know, obviously she thinks that she's so hot and that everybody just wants to sleep with her. Huh, that's interesting. Because we talk politics and I didn't really get a chance to actually dig up a whole bunch of articles on anything. We're just kind of flipping around and looking at stuff here, and I'm like, oh, look at that. George Soros donates $1 million to Beto O'Rourke's campaign to unseat Governor Abbott. Whoa, really?
God. I mean, look at his eyes too. Like he's just a creepazoid. And by the way, he was one of these people, you know, that was like, oh, protect trans kids. Yeah. There is no trans kids unless creepy weirdo freakazoids such as yourself go around and touch little kids and do things to children. There's not trans kids unless you sit there and screw with their mind and then tell them that, oh yeah, it's okay if this doctor like mutilates you permanently. Like that's fine. Doctor, quote unquote. Like that's Beto O'Rourke. AKA Robert Francis the Third.
It says Abbott is ahead in the polls in his third term as governor of Texas, but the O'Rourke campaign recently reported record-breaking campaign donations in a financial report from late February to June. O'Rourke's campaign said it garnered $27.6 million, a sum of $2.7 million greater than that reported by Abbott's campaign. Overall, Abbott holding advantage with $45.7 million in cash in hand, while O'Rourke is only $23.9 million to spend in the election. When you have that much money to spend on an election, either side, regardless to the situation, you should not actually be in politics. You should remove yourself from it and quit thinking that you need money to win an election. I like the guy that was Rhode Island, $50 wins as an election. You know, that's what I'm talking about. Do that kind of stuff. I don't care about your millions and $500 million or whatever it is. I really don't. Could Abbott get a better endorsement from Soros backing his opposition? I mean, I don't know. Supposedly, you know, catching $1 million from George Soros really gets you somewhere.
Now, did Abbott win his primary? Is that what I'm assuming here? That Abbott won the primary for the gubernatorial?
He must have.
Because I didn't really hear too much after that. I kind of dropped out from the Texas gubernatorial race there.
Texas governor,
which I don't think Abbott did a very good job for Texas.
49% for Greg Abbott, 41% for Beto.
The race for Texas governor is tightening based on the latest polling.
Yeah, political experts say key issues like abortion and gun control are having an impact on this race. Check the numbers from a new CBS poll.
Dwight says, "Can I ask a stupid question of who's George Soros?" I mean, you can ask it, but I totally suggest you go look him up and actually see what he's all about. You'd be surprised what all he has his grubby fingers in.
Showing Governor Greg Abbott leading former Congressman Beto O'Rourke by 9 points. Our political reporter Gerald Harris joining us live with a closer look at this race. Gerald?
Yeah, the matchup for Texas governor is the marquee race, and new polling shows what could be Republicans retaining power if it holds come November. Incumbent Governor Greg Abbott is in good position to win again in November.
The economy, war, and I think the court's decisions clearly favor the Republicans. The only big question mark, will Democrats mobilize?
Are you all registered to vote? Yes. Just as recent polling
Pretty
showed
apt.
Democrat Beto O'Rourke closing a 15-point lead for Abbott. A new CBS poll shows the incumbent Republican governor with an 8-point lead, 49-41.
Republicans always had a tremendous advantage in turnout, particularly in the midterms. In the midterm elections, the Democratic margin in turnout to Republicans was as much as 12 to 15 points.
But the Republican margin of victory has seen some decline to Democrats over recent elections, and looming large are current events in Texas like the school shooting in Uvalde.
Oh my
We don't
God.
know what 2020.
This is such gaslighting by their local media, and that's what all these local media stations do that are affiliated with CBS, ABC, and NBC. That's all they do is fill your head with horseshit. Because well, since this race hasn't actually commenced, let's just sit here and tell you that the popular thing to do is to go along with the Dems because that's the real thing. Because guns are bad, so why don't you guys that's literally what they're telling you. Like, these people are so evil, trying to brainwash people, being like, oh, this is the thing, like, this is popular, so you know what, like, this is gaining popularity, so you can either vote with what's popular and be a brainwashed imbecile, or if you actually give a damn, just give up and black pill and just go home and die. Like, just forget about it. The Dems win. They always win, right? The Dems will always gain the advantage. That's what all these damn media people always freaking say. But every goddamn race that there ever was.
What? Dragon Man says, fine. Take away guns and hire coward cops.
Right.
Yeah, right.
That's the other thing, was the Uvalde shooting. More came out about that. Did you see that?
Yep.
Koolfrogg,
Yeah,
did you see that?
I did.
Are we going to bring that up?
We can bring that up, being that it's
totally do that.
it was something we just.
I mean, we don't have to do it like this second, obviously, but
No, let's finish
Right.
this, and I'll go dig while this is actually playing out.
Shooting in Uvalde.
We don't know what 2022 is going to hold. Do Democrats get mobilized because of the reversal of Roe? Do Republicans get mobilized because they're now wanting to, of course, take control over the questions of abortion, gun control?
Only 46% of Texans approve of the job Greg Abbott is doing. 55% believe Abbott's response to the Uvalde shooting was bad, something lawmakers representing Uvalde are still trying to unpack.
He doesn't want anybody to talk about his seminal piece of legislation, the $4 billion he squandered on the border. And 91 of those officers were there. They didn't serve our children. They didn't save these children.
And I reached out to both campaigns for comment and have not heard back. The CBS poll continued to show strong support here in Texas for things like red flag laws, background checks, a ban on purchasing a semi-automatic weapon, and restricting the age to buy an AR-15 to 21. Reporting in Houston, Gerald Harris, KHOU 11 News.
A few months left until November. Gerald, thanks for the update.
Eesh, that sounded so creepy.
Thanks for the update.
It's a few months left till November.
Right.
It's just so blatant. It's just like, hey, right? It's like CNN going like, oh, but we can win this. But if we just do this, but if we can just do this, and they're talking about the Democrat Party and Hillary Clinton in 2016. They're like flipping their shit, and they're like, but if we can. It's like you're literally just saying we, like you all are the same damn thing, like live on television. Because they are the same thing. Anyway.
Let's just go straight to this one. Let's see if I can't make that a little bigger. So on Sunday, July 17th, the Texas House Committee investigating the deadly mass shooting of Robb Elementary School released a 77-page report detailing what happened the day of the shooting, including how law enforcement responded. The report states that that more than 300 law enforcement officers and 23 agencies responded to the scene. Hallway and body camera video that depicted a slow, uncoordinated response that went on for more than 70 minutes. The report provided the following breakdown of agency response to the shooting. United States Border Patrol, 149, Texas Department of Public Safety, Uvalde Police Department, San Antonio Police Department, SWAT, Uvalde County Sheriff's, Department of Homeland Security, United States Marshals, Drug Enforcement Agency,
Jesus.
Frio County Sheriff's, Kinney County Sheriff, Uvalde Consolidation Independent School District, Daly Police Department, Zavala County Sheriff's, Medina County Sheriff's, Cibinal Police Department, City of Uvalde Fire Marshals, Parcel Police Department, Texas Park and Wildlife, Uvalde County Constables, Valverde County Sheriff's Office, Frio County Constables, Southwest Texas Junior College, and Zavala County Constables. So it's like it said 91 all the way down into one of each at the very end. There was an awful lot of people that showed up from different areas and did absolutely nothing. That's just disgusting.
Now, are you gonna read on here? I have a little bit of
no.
this.
Go ahead. We can, but yeah, go ahead. Is the expert making it bigger? What? I'm not sure what you're actually getting at there.
Koolfrogg is an expert in making it bigger. Ha 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 ha. Ha.
Oh, I read that wrong. I read that wrong. I got you. Row is a bad law.
Finish reading this, and then I'll get to my point about this. Actually, I'm writing something down.
Have so much vested interest in gaslighting America into.
I'm writing his questions down, so we can go over it later.
Okay. Can we?
So yeah, we'll go over those, Dwight. But we want
honestly interested in you guys' opinions on that question. Yeah, we'll totally get to that. Let me finish this here real quick, and then we'll get back to your question. What we don't know is how many of these law enforcement officers were administrative leave and no longer on the forces are currently still serving in the communities. The Texas Department of Public Safety announced Monday that they're investigating its 91 responding officers. The agency told ABC that it has been examining the actions of its officers from the very beginning, though DPS previously told KVU it formed an internal committee to review the department's response just last week. We don't know how many of the other agencies are conducting investigations on their own. KVUE has reached out to all 23 responding agencies to try to find out more. These are the 6 questions sent to state and local agencies. 1, please confirm the number of officers, deputies, troopers, and agents who responded. 2, how many of them are still actively working in the same role that they had at the time of the shooting? How many of them have been placed on administrative leave or suspended? How many of them have been terminated due to reasons related? How many of them have resigned since the elementary school shooting? And how many of them are sought to receive mental health counseling since the Robb Elementary School in Uvalde? Kind of really goes on for quite some distance here. Let's see here. Let's kind of break this out here. It's the San Antonio Police Department SWAT. The SAPD said that the first team did not respond to the location until 1:15, which was after the shooter had killed at 12:50. No response as of Tuesday from the Uvalde County Sheriff's. The Department of Homeland Security told KVUE that it would not comment. United States Marshals, no response. Drug enforcement agencies would not comment. Frio County Sheriff's, no response. Kinney County Sheriff's, no response. Uvalde CISD requested upon records requests to be filed. We are awaiting a response. However, We do know Uvalde CISD Police Chief Pete Arredondo was placed on administrative leave in June. He kind of stepped down all at the same time. Dilley Police Department, no response. Zavala County, no response. Medina County, no response. Seminole Police, no response. So there's an awful lot of no response to any of it, as opposed to, every single one of them that showed up that did absolutely nothing until the very last minute should just be removed from their position and no longer have anything to do with it. See, Texas Park and Wildlife, 2 Texas game wardens responded. 1 arrived after the shooter was incapacitated. Both game wardens remain employed by the Texas Park and Wildlife. Texas Rangers retained the game warden's body camera for evidentiary purposes in the scene of the incident. The Texas Rangers, U.S. Department of Justice, and FBI are investigating the incident. TPWD has determined that internal investigation into the actions of our wardens is warranted at the conclusion of the investigation. While we can't release employee mental health information, we have crisis interventions teams trained to provide mental health support for peace officers as well as civilians, and they request it. Let's see, county constables, Officer Constable Precinct 6 holds only 1 active peace officer, which is myself. The officer currently has no deputies, still active and current in his position. Elected Constable Precinct 6. I will respectively answer any questions, will not interfere with the investigation. Look at this. No response, no response, no response, no response. There's an awful lot of places that have absolutely no response to any of it. Oh, this looks like this is new body cam footage that came out of KVUE. I haven't seen these all lined up like this before. Do we want to watch this? Do we not want to watch this?
How long is this one?
Let's see what it's just
In just
5
a few moments,
minutes.
we will show you some of the body camera video.
We can kind of.
I'll stick around to watch that, and then I'll have to take off. I got some phone calls to make in the morning.
Absolutely. We'll kind of skip forward to the footage. I really don't care about the rest of it. I mean, I do. I feel sorry for all those children that had so many officers respond and do absolutely nothing for 70 minutes, allowing them to perish in the spot that they were.
Am I bleeding? Am I bleeding? Am I bleeding?
My wife's bathroom.
Officers ran back down the hallway after those gunshots. You heard another officer say, "That's my wife's classroom." That's Uvalde police officer Robyn Ruiz, the husband of Eva Morales, one of the 2 teachers killed in the shooting. Now, according to DPS, Ruiz was escorted away from the school shortly after that.
Now, the next clip is about 20 minutes later from Uvalde Police Sergeant Daniel Coronado showing some students being rescued through a classroom window.
Now, this is not one of the 2 classrooms where the attack happened, but it is a different classroom. The images of the children are blurred, so they can't be identified.
Cover them, watch. Go, run over there.
Come on, get him out, get him out. Come on. Just drop it. Come on, guys. Come on.
Yeah, go. Pull up.
Let's go. Go right
Hurry, guys, hurry.
Come on, sir.
Hurry, push.
Go, right. Come on, big guy.
You're all right, come on, push.
Yes.
Now, after the kids were helped through that window, they ran to a parking lot where more officers were waiting. Around the same time, the school district police
more
chief,
officers,
Pete
no
Arredondo,
parents though. No parents there.
Oh,
Your
no,
kids
they
are
weren't allowed
property
to
of
go.
the state. For the next couple of hours, because it's still the school's day, damn it. You sons of bitches, how dare you parents think you can have rights to your kids. We're not done with them yet.
Until they get shot.
East roof. He's gonna have vision of it. So on the east roof right here. So they can climb in through the east side of that. They can go up on the roof right there. ASAP because property.
He's making contact, I think. Watch out, guys.
I like to see these lined up with the other camera footage.
Hey,
I just want to wonder.
I'm with you on
I
that
want
one.
to make sure these guys, because they're in the line of fire. Everybody moved to the this side.
They're on it, except for one over that side that they moved. We put them all over here.
Yeah,
Our
yeah.
guys.
Yes.
That side don't listen too well, but most of them are.
Okay, well, they're in the line of fire, both sides.
Can you hear me? Your guys are all on the west side, right? You want a line of fire, right? Okay. Okay, excellent. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Get in there. Go.
Now, Arredondo had asked for a breaching tool to get through the classroom door. Officers talked about going through the windows instead, but decided not to. Instead, they waited for officers from the Border Patrol Tactical Unit to arrive and breach the classroom. Children were cleared out of other nearby classrooms in the meantime, and you can also hear officers trying to communicate with the shooter.
I agree completely, Dwight. That badge is absolutely meaningless. When you get people like this.
Adults and whatever, these pussies, when their children involved, no valid excuse. The badge don't mean shit. That's kind of in this kind of situation. Yeah, exactly. I hear you. I did jump over to the Twitch side of things, and you are a mod now, Dwight. There you go. Yeah, he likes that. You're very welcome. Thanks for being faithful and actually watching us on a regular basis. I love it. It's awesome.
Appreciate you being here, dude.
So there was a question that he had asked that he was
before
asking
we
us
get-
to actually.
Before we get to that,
Go ahead.
I want to make my points on this. This
Sure.
is something that Jack Posobiec has been pointing out on Bannon's show that he's been hosting because Bannon's in court. And then he's also pointed this out today, again, on his Human Events Daily. He read the entire report. I posted the report as a PDF in the Stick Show setup as well, so you could put a link to it for anybody if they wanted to read it, I guess, in the description, however you do that.
Are you not a mod?
Oh, well, I can put it in the chat. I just thought you wanted to put it in the description.
Oh no, yeah, okay. I hear
Yeah.
you. I hear you. I got you. I misunderstood you.
Just as a reference, yeah. And he's talking about the reason why that the officers did not respond in the way in which they should have, in the timely manner in which they should have, the way that they should have in the school even, or not in the school, but like as they were coming to the school, right, and everything's going on, and they're like, what do we do? How do we do? Whatever, and they almost weren't taking some of this stuff seriously to a certain degree until some of them, kind of got in there, and, some of this stuff, and there was confusion and different things. The reason why is because they thought this school, Robb Elementary in Uvalde, Texas, was underneath of school lockdown 47 other different times in this school year because of human trafficking people and other illegal aliens going across the border and the Border Patrol chasing them. And that's one of the corridors into the U.S. is through that area. And so they were chasing these people, and they have to shut down the school. They've shut it down 47 other times,
We
and the
missed
cops didn't respond.
Nicholas taking off. Nicholas, have a good one, brother.
Oh, yeah. Later there.
Sorry about that.
Yeah. But the cops did not respond in the way in
There's
which
another
they
one.
should have.
Later, Dragon Man.
Because they thought this was just some other lockdown. This was just somebody that was coming across the border. Border Patrol was chasing them, whatever. Like, oh, it's one of those other things. Because literally 47 other different times that exact same elementary school has been under lockdown before because of illegal aliens and human traffickers that are being chased by Border Patrol, and they're in a vehicle, or, sometimes they're in a vehicle, sometimes they're on foot, but a lot, like sometimes they're on a vehicle and they get off the vehicle and they catch them, but then they notice there's like 5 different people or 10 other people. They're out of the vehicle. They're gone. They've hopped out of the back of the truck. They've whatever. And they're like running around, and they have to like shut down the schools. They have to shut down. And that exact elementary school has been shut down 47 other different times. And so when they hear that there's a car and a truck coming in, there's a car wreck out front, something's going on. They're like, oh God, it's just one of these crazy Mexican people trying to get across the border. They're trying to do crazy crap. They'll lock down the school, whatever. And the response was not dealt with in the way in which it should have, and the seriousness that it should have been, because they thought it wasn't serious because of how many goddamn times the school has been locked down because of crazy wackadoos coming across the border.
Sounds like we got a border problem.
Yeah. To the point that the police don't even think that a school shooting is actually all that serious, or that they think, like, oh, well, it's a car wreck out front. We don't have to respond like all that huge right now. They'll probably just get out of their car and run and do their thing, whatever. Border Patrol's chasing them, whatever. Like, they don't even think twice about, like, oh, gee, is that a shooter? Is that something else? Is that whatever? Like, no, they just, And then when they hear it's a shooter, then it's like, what the hell do we do? How's this? What's this? And they had to call in all these other officers because the day before the school was on lockdown. Because of that, the literal day before, and because they were chasing people. And so their own officers were preoccupied. And I think the thing was that some of their own officers from the city itself was actually not there because they were up like freaking all night long, I guess, or something. And so they were, like, some of them were on their, not leave or something, but, like, they weren't there for duty, but maybe they were called in afterwards. I have to look at the report again. But the point is that the reason why this all happened the way that it did initially, and then, of course, again, like, you have to react like that. You can't just wait. You can't just finagle around. And that's what led to all of this. And so the reason why it didn't end up the initial reaction the way that it should have is because that school was locked down 47 other different times, and the day before it was locked down because of human trafficker people and other other people coming across the border that they don't know who the hell they are. The Border Patrol's chasing them, and they just jump out of a truck, or they jump out of wherever, or they're barreling out of there with a freaking pickup or whatever that they hop onto because some of their friends get on there and then they go. And then, they have to put the school on lockdown, and they have to put other places on lockdown. And that school in particular was. And so they hear a car wreck out front. They're like, oh, there's somebody walking around in the school grounds. And what do? They just lock down the school. Oh, well, we're just going on lockdown. It's fine. It's just one of those other things. And little did they know, oh, this wasn't an illegal immigrant guy. This guy's actually going into the school. It's not just somebody passing through school grounds that they have to lock everything down to make sure the kids are like, no, like, this guy's going right for the school because he's not an illegal alien. He's a school shooter. It's like, oh,
just taken the illegal alien situation a little bit more seriously, maybe this outcome would not have happened.
Right. And that's why all these other officers from all these other departments had to come in, because they didn't know if the numbers were there because of everything else that they're being preoccupied with. I mean, it's so insane. And that's the thing. It was like, why the hell did they not respond to this? I mean, like, God, we have the security footage. The woman's watching this guy on the security camera, and the police haven't showed up yet. And the police haven't come in, or the police, if they were there, what's going on? Is there something going on outside? And then then their chief of police is like, don't do this or don't do this or whatever. And like, what are you doing? What's happening? Like, all of this disorientation that's going on is because the school was on lockdown the day before because of border shut. And so, not to say that they had an excuse not to go in when they were there and not to wait around and do all this stupid, crazy shit that they did, but rather to say that some of those officers that were there, they weren't even around the area. Like, they weren't from there. And so they're like, we listen to your guy. Do we listen to your guy? Like, how's this going on? Like, whatever. And you saw there where some of them are trying to get him out of the windows. And so I'm not making excuses for anybody, but at the same time, like, that whole thing of the initial reaction not being taken because, oh, it's just another one of those, or, oh, it's just whatever. I mean, that's huge because, like, seconds matter. I mean, he went in and he shot up a classroom, and then he stayed in the classroom. I think he shot a couple more people, but the initial breach was when most of the kids were killed. And so if they would have stopped him at the initial breach, if there were officers there, if they actually took everything with the seriousness that it needed to be, because, again, right, it's like, oh, well, it's just one of those other people, locked down the school, quote unquote. And then this guy just barges in. If they would have had that initial reaction necessary to put a stop to it, there wouldn't have been anybody harmed. But then, of course, like we all see, the crap ensues. He's allowed to stay in there. All this crap is allowed to happen. And I'm not denying. I mean, we've talked about this before, where, like
And again, YouTube's not updating correctly. So Susie says the police should have phoned the school and got the school to lock down. That is the important thing.
Yep.
Yeah, exactly.
Poor form on many fronts. I do got to get going though. I see our Aussie friend has returned. Good to see you, man.
Yeah.
I do got to skedaddle though, so I'll talk to you guys later.
All right, later, brother.
Alrighty, Jimmy.
Everybody,
Later,
check
brother.
out Jimmy YouTube.
Right. He's got the big 4-0 of subscribers.
Can I, just before he disappears, Jimmy, can I ask you
What's
something?
up, man?
I've spoken to Shirts, I've spoken to Frog. Does this Uvalde shit fuck you off on a soul level?
Yeah, it really hurts to watch that shit, honestly. Like, I've sat down and watched the footage, and it's not a good time. It really hurts, like, on a deeper level than you'd expect, just as a passive observer.
Yeah, like I just watched. I'm bouncing between all your guys' streams at the moment, and I was watching a body cam video over on the Expert, right? And I actually thought I heard despair in the cop's voice. He was like talking about someone being shot in the head, and he's like, "Are we going in? Are we going in?" And he's like, "Well, we're setting up a perimeter." And he's like, "Well, when are we going in?" And I actually think there were cops there that wanted to go in and followed orders. Now, I'm not even going to speak to the following orders, because in the army and in the police, you follow orders no matter what.
There's no speculation in that. It's 100%. That's what happened. The police chief showed up first, and he decided to hold everyone back from going in.
And that's where I'm slowly thinking it's his fault, isn't it? That I can't even this is why
he's on administrative leave right now. Yeah, he's going to get burnt.
The words I want to use about this guy would get your channel fucking censored. Like C-bombs, F-bombs, fucking just... You go and Google profanity in the extreme, and that's what I want to fall out of my mouth onto this wanker's head.
Yep, I feel you in that one.
Yeah, it is such a troubling one. Just this whole thing, just seeing it in its entirety, and more as it comes out, it's just so wrong.
I don't even hate the guy, because I don't know him from a bar of soap, but I've never been so, and I'm just going to say this, so utterly fucking disgusted.
Yeah.
In a
How could you do your job so fucking wrong, you know? Like, first officer on scene supposed to bum rush.
Well, right, and that's their training, and that's what their whole.
Some lady apparently ran in there and got her kids out while the officers were standing there wanking.
They told her she's not allowed in. She tried to go through in the front, and they tackled her. They got her away, and then she escaped from them, went clear around the backside, crawled over the fence, went into an open damn door, got into those classrooms with her kids, grabbed her kids, and she ran the hell out of there. I mean,
Didn't
she was like
want to take other kids with her, and the teacher wouldn't let her or something?
I believe it.
I read somewhere that she wanted to take all the children. She wanted to empty that classroom. Okay, I'm going to talk to this on a personal level, okay? I don't know if you guys know about any of this. I don't know if you guys are familiar with this, just to detract from your news. I'm sorry. We had a shooting, an active shooter event in Christchurch a while back, the Christchurch mosque shooting. First major modern shooting of its time. The guy went in with an AR-15 and he shot over 50 people, women, children, kids, men, and then he went on the run, and he was loose in Christchurch. Now I came across it. I was actually watching. Somebody linked me a video and said, "Look, this is what's going on," I was like, nah, this can't be real. It's got to be shit. And I walked away from it. And all of a sudden, my wife goes, "Did you? It's all over. It's everywhere." Like, and I was like, "What the fuck?" And I went back and I looked at it, and sure enough, there, like in the live stream, it was going on. And she's like, "Everyone's like, because we know people who are just nerds, right? Reddit nerds, 4chan nerds, whatever. They're in that level of the internet." And I jumped in my car and I went straight to the school. The school was in full lockdown. And I walked into my kid's classroom. I grabbed the first one. Teacher didn't argue. And then I went into the next classroom. And the teacher tried to say, no, you can't go. And I looked at my son on the mat and I said, I'm going to change his name. I said, no, fuck it. Jacob. I said, Jacob, get your bag and come with me now. And he hopped up off the mat and he sort of looked at his teacher, he looked at me, and then he went over, waddled over, grabbed his bag, and he came with me. And I took the two boys over to the central building and I grabbed my daughter. And so I had 3 kids in this school. And the last reports I'd heard was that he was on the loose, last seen heading east. And that was towards the direction of my kid's school. So I was like, no, I'm not. And I went back to the office and I spoke to the principal and I said, well, my car is parked outside that front door. And I said, I am going to go and park my car across the driveway. If anyone wants to come in, they can go to the other car park on the other side of the building, but no one's coming into this car park from this point on. If you want me to stay here with my kids, I said, you go and you get every child out of their classrooms and you put them in the assembly hall. I said, if you put them all in the assembly hall, which has no windows in its doors and they're all lockable and it's got solid walls, I said, then I'll stay with my kids. I said, but if you're not willing to take that step to put everybody into one room where we as parents, because there was 50 of us there at that point, I said, I'm telling you, he better have a fuckload of bullets, because if he comes here and there's 50 parents standing around that hall, some of us may go down, but he's not getting near those kids.
Oh no, you'd throw enough bodies at him.
Yeah. And about
That guy'd be
15,
fucked.
he was reluctant, and about 15 to 20 of the other parents, other fathers that were there, and mothers, all stood forward and said, no, we want that. And to this day, that teacher that wouldn't let my kid out of the class won't speak to me. And they did. They got all the kids together and they because the hall was brand new. So it had electronic locks, it had fucking reinforced glass in the main foyer. The main part of the hall was fully secure. And yeah, they put them all in there and I stayed. If they hadn't moved them all to one room, I would have just been out of there.
What are firearm laws like in Australia?
I'm not in Australia, I'm in New Zealand.
Oh, you're in New Zealand, mate.
Yeah, so what they did in response was stupid laws. All they did was say that you can still get AR-15 style weapons, but only in a rimfire caliber. So you can't have them in a centerfire caliber, but you can get some really massive rimfire rounds. So, I mean, this Uvalde shit, like having gone through that panic as a parent trying to get to your kids and then being told you can't take them, I didn't care. They threatened prosecution and all kinds of shit. I was like, I don't care. These are my kids. I'd rather have them die with me than die without me. Like, if they're going to die, if a shooter's going to come at us, I'm there. It's like, nah. Yeah.
People are suggesting that teachers have guns in their classroom. And
I don't agree.
I think we just need to address some societal issues here instead of, just band-aiding the issue and making it possibly worse.
Yeah. No, hang on, I'm just copying something. I think, and I've given this some thought, there's no answer within the American culture. Hang on. one of my own personal dramas coming to a head in the background. Isn't it fun being on YouTube? You will never get the guns out of America, ever. You
shouldn't.
You will never change the attitudes on guns because there's too many good points on both sides, if you know what I mean. And a common sense gun control people make some good arguments. Common sense gun owners make some better arguments. Is that if every parent with a gun had been allowed to go in there, that shooter's dead. But at the same time, potentially so is another parent in a crossfire because there's 500 parents running into a school with guns shooting everyone else that's got a gun. Right, so there's arguments on both sides. It can't be just a free-for-all system where everyone with a gun runs in and tries to save their kids.
Right. Well, the problem is we have more trust in the parents to go in there than we do the police officers.
Yeah, and what I think, you can't have kids standing there in class drawing pretty butterflies on their pieces of paper with an armed guard in the corner. Kids pick that shit up. Even if you have an unarmed security guard standing in a corner, kids pick that shit up. My wife's a preschool teacher. She's an early childhood education specialist. And just even because there's no male teachers there, even when I walk into that room, those kids start behaving differently. They pick up on the difference, the change from norm, right? And I don't think you can put armed guards into classrooms. I think if you're going to turn around and say that we're going to take the semi-hands-off approach, spend the money, fortify every classroom. Bulletproof glass in the windows, bulletproof glass in the doors, and security locks. Make those fucking classrooms
that was
safer.
what you've already had. You've already had all of that. They had the whole
How did
thing.
he
They were under
fucking
a
get in
federal
there?
government program for the past 3 months before that for testing out. They did test runs for school shootings even. So on top of the lockdowns
A
that they
teacher
did
left
for
the back
the
door
thing,
wide open.
Well, they had lockdown practice the day before. Is that right?
They had a lockdown practice. They had the lockdown practice the day before.
I gotta go though, you guys.
Oh yeah, okay.
Thanks,
Just
Jimmy.
go. Yeah.
Later, Jimmy. Have a good one.
Nice to meet you, dude.
Good convo, you guys.
Well, so how the fuck did it go wrong? Like,
he just walked in. The door was completely unlocked.
Doors? Like the classroom doors, like
it was unlocked. He just opened the door and went in.
It was all just unlocked. He just walked right through.
I mean, that's the whole level of shit right here. It's like every level of this, there's some screwy shit, and then when it comes down to him being able to walk into the school,
yeah, I didn't.
The school
finish,
is on
by the way,
lockdown.
either.
How the hell are
I'll
all these
finish
doors
what
open?
The systems need to be in place because I actually think one of the systems that needs to be in place speaks to that failure. Like my next suggestion really is emphasized by that fucking failure. That's disgusting. That was supposed to be a safe school and that didn't happen.
Some
what I was going
might
to say,
allege that perhaps, things were
inside
done.
job conspiracies. I don't know if I'm willing to go
know.
there yet. I'm not willing to go there yet. I'm going to take my tin hat off for this one. I normally happily wear a tin hat, but I'm not. I'm going to leave that off to the side because I'm trying to figure out how to protect kids at this point rather than figuring out conspiracies. I'll look forward, then I'll look back. What I was going to say is there are options. I do think you need guns in schools. You need to have guns in schools. There needs to be something there so that somebody somewhere can arm themselves and defend against an active shooter. The question becomes, where do you put them? I don't think the guns can be on a security guard or visible to the children or on a teacher or whatever. Because, can you imagine, take a high school, for example, where I've seen footage of angry teenagers physically attacking teachers. You put a gun on that teacher and that gets into the hands of an angry teenage kid, fuck, you've created a shooter. So what do you do? Where do you put them? Do you have a lockbox in a classroom, like a vault, a wall safe or something in every classroom with a Glock and three mags? Do you have a armory room in your school where you have, say, I thought maybe plainclothes security guards walking the hallways, and that there's a panic system that automatically locks all doors, and in a panic situation, all of those plainclothes guards are instructed to rendezvous at that armory and arm themselves at that point. Because I mean, at least then you could literally, if you wanted to say, well, we want to keep these guns away from individuals, you could have an armed guard, pay an armed guard to sit in that room, and only he can open the door. Like, it can only be open from the inside, sort of situation, without, say, 3-tier security protocols. And that if there's an active shooting situation, then when he looks through the camera and sees that his guards are rendezvousing with him, he opens the door and lets them in. They arm, and then they begin patrolling the schools. I know for a fact there are so many ex-military vets out there that would happily volunteer to do that.
Exactly. There's so many of them that would just totally love to actually take care of those children and be sure everybody was safe.
Yeah. And I mean, there are no perfect answers. I saw before that Dwight Zombie's like, oh, you've got to think farther into that. I don't know what he's specifically meaning. Like, I do have to think further into this, because I'm only just, like, my brain is literally trying to peel these layers back as I go. And every time I fucking go in a layer, I get ripped back to something else, some other new piece of information, some other raw emotion that I can't logically process past. I mean, you can't just uniformly change the country, change the way you guys view gun rights. I've had many of these conversations. You're too far gone, if you know what I mean. You're too far down the path you've traveled to go back and detour off. Oh, you might just need to turn your gain down on your speakers, Dwight. Or mute the stream while you're in here.
Yep, Dwight, turn your stream down.
Yeah, no, I did, man. Sorry, my bad.
Yeah, so I mean, you're too far down the path on the gun rights issues and the constitutional issues. So you can't look back and try and change the situation with gun availability. You got to accept the guns are out there. The crazy individuals are going to be able to get a hold of them. So what do you do moving forward? Create safe rooms for your kids and put guns in your school. And how do you do that safely? How do you safely put guns in schools so that there's no oopsies? And I think an armory of some sort is the only real way to do it. Like, even on a naval ship, other than the MPs, the sailors don't walk around that ship armed to the teeth, as far as I'm aware. They have an armory, and in a combat situation, they then arm themselves. Is that correct?
May I? Well, I didn't want to answer your question, but may I comment on it?
Question here. I
Go ahead,
think what they do is they have, like, they're not like armed to the teeth, but I think a lot of them would probably, in my opinion, from what I think goes on with that, is that they have a small sidearm, like a pistol, or like a
I think
that
that's
kind of a
just
thing.
the MPs. I think that's just the duty patrol officers that go armed.
I don't think that arming teachers is the right answer, because I've had teachers that were like pieces of shit, you know, and weren't very fucking nice and didn't have good knowledge of how to control their behavior. But
I mean, it's a societal thing. It's a cultural thing. It's a mental thing. It's all of that above and beyond. Because you can sit here and say, you know, like, well, if we put a teacher with this, if we gave a teacher a concealed carry, and then like, oh golly, what if that teacher goes wacko because that teacher's crazy? Or what if the crazy teen goes after? I think the question is, why is the teacher and why is the kid grabbing for the gun to shoot somebody else? Like, shouldn't we? You know, like, that's the real overarching, in my opinion, like the overarching issue of like, why do people want to go around and like just start shooting each other? Like, this hasn't happened in American history before.
I had teachers that would throw chairs at the wall and get pissed off and just act fucking ludicrous, because they're just adults. They're just fucking normal people, you know. But I think that if we can send fucking billions of dollars to the fucking Ukraine, which Russia's going to end up getting anyways, why can't we have some money spent to have some cars that are armed and trained at the fucking schools? Why can't we have those people?
Because we want things to happen. We want sitting duck situations so that we can take away your Second Amendment rights. That's what it's all.
Right.
You can't fuck with the Second Amendment. That's not the solution. And as long as the Democrats keep fucking calling for that, they're not going to get any fucking leeway out of the Republicans. So I mean, the Democrats need to pull their heads out of their asses and accept the fact that guns.
I got an Amber Alert. Sorry.
Guns in America is a thing. Stop trying to fucking change the situation and try to figure out how to protect your kids in the situation that exists.
But for
Worry
them,
about the
from
gun
their
issue later. Like, that's a
right,
separate issue to protecting your kids. I do not,
right.
and I will never say this, a gun in an untrained individual's hands is the most dangerous type of gun. So whoever has the guns in the schools, I think
I
guns
agree
need
with
to be
you,
in
and
schools.
that's why I'm so disturbed that they actually changed it. Because back when I was in high school, we all were able to actually bring a shotgun into the school, go through proper training. That way, we all knew how to actually use a gun properly. They
What
removed
the
that from
fuck
schools because
school
they're like,
did you go to, Koolfrogg?
I graduated in '96. There was a such thing as actually learning how to
Oh
use
yeah,
a
I mean,
firearm.
you can go back to
back
like the
then.
late 1800s. I mean, there's firearms training in American schools like forever.
Yeah,
absolutely.
Yeah, and I just whoever
I didn't have a
whoever it
vehicle,
is
so
has
I
to be
would
trained.
actually have my father bring the shotgun to school. I'd use it for class, and then he'd come back and he'd pick it up and take it home with him.
How many unemployed vets are there in America?
Oh my God!
Like,
I mean, this
so
is the
many.
discussion that a lot of people in the conservative side I'll have bearded. I mean, like yeah. I mean, there are tons of them that would be like, yeah, sure, pay me. I'll just go in
Yeah.
there and sit down with a gun or whatever, and so wave hi to the kids, and sit there with that. I'd be more than happy to just sit there and just wait for
I
somebody.
bet
to
they
come
would
up.
have a better life than they have if they're just sitting around doing absolutely nothing,
Right.
thinking that they're worthless. They would actually feel that they're part of something. There'd be children around that they would actually be able to share their stories with, and maybe actually have a better life themselves.
Yeah, and
Well,
be
let
active in
me-
the community as well.
Let me ask you this: how many armed federal air marshals sit on planes doing fuck all, just in case one gets hijacked?
Yeah.
How many
yeah.
armed federal air marshals sit on planes flying around America just
That's
in
a
case a plane
business.
gets hijacked?
It's a business, and we try to act like
So don't tell me that you can't
school
put together an agency where you can put one armed guard or one guard with access to arms in a school that just fucking wanders around the school just in case there's a thing. Or hell, here's an idea: if you're not going to put guns in schools, have a specialist active shooter response squad that can act autonomously from police fucking authority, from chain of command, and that this squad, if called out, can make its own decisions and make it a prerequisite that any member of the squad must have military training and preferably combat experience, because they understand how to work within a chain of command.
You know-
If you
you know
can't
what
get
the
an
problem
order
with
from
that
your
is?
higher up, you need to act in that combat situation.
The problem with that is that it's too rational, and it doesn't carry political bias.
Because I tell you what, if this had happened in a Washington school and the president's son had been fucking killed in one of these shootings, you'd have $2 trillion earmarked for child protective services today.
Right.
So why does it matter that it's not a president's kid? I thought every American citizen was equal.
Oh, we're not. We're not.
We're
anymore.
not.
No.
I mean, that's the way they want it to
They
continue.
treat most of us like we're second-class citizens.
Hey, and if you're a straight
Real
white male,
quick,
you're-
Susie said there's some firearms training in junior high school in Alberta. Not all schools would have it though. So
Yeah, but
even
once
Canada
again,
had
you
firearm
can't
training.
put guns in the kids' hands. You can't put guns in the teachers' hands. They're not rational. Like in a situation like that, they're not going to be rational. 9 out of 10 people in a situation like that are not going to be able to think calmly. They're not going to be able to think rationally. They're going to be in a hyper fucking inflated state of existence. So there's going to be adrenaline pumping. There's going to be panic. There's going to be fear, anxiety. You are not thinking straight. Do not put a gun in that person's fucking hand, because someone's going to end up dead that shouldn't. So you turn around and you get professionals, you get soldiers, retired vets. You give them a purpose. Solve two problems at once. Employ your unemployed vets. Put them in the schools. Put in an armory that they have access to. And then you got people that have gone and served their country people that have the training, the ability to be rational. You only need 2 of them. You put 2 trained army vets with access to arms in a school, and I'll tell you what, they're going to take an active shooter out like they're fucking buttering their bread.
I like your English statement there, but yeah, let's butter some fucking bread, man. Do that shit.
He's from New Zealand.
Whatever.
Yeah. But that it just seems like, but the Democrats have to shut the fuck up. Stop bitching about your gun rights, your opinions on guns. Accept the problem as it stands and find a solution. Then once you've fixed and stopped the kids dying, then figure out what to do with your stupid gun lobbying. Because I tell you what, it's not the 99.99999% of American gun owners that are going around shooting up schools. So don't fucking worry about the 0.1% that are going rogue.
And it's so
like,
disappointing. It's disappointing that they give a shit about everyone else so much more, but the children, which should be held as the most important, they're like, oh no, those are the ones we can't. Like they're willing to. It sounds sick, but it seems like they're willing to sacrifice children's lives to uphold their political bias.
It's almost as if.
It is, isn't it? Like
as if, right?
If you eliminate all possibilities, and you're left with only one, no matter how improbable.
Yeah.
I mean, it just comes down to stop fucking squabbling, because that's all I see coming out of the American. As a citizen of a foreign country watching American politics, your guys' politicians can't get fuck all done. All they fucking do is argue while people die. They sit there squabbling and bickering over bullshit while people starve in the streets. Where the fuck is the American government gone? Because I don't see one. I don't see one when I watch the news. I see a bunch of stupid kids fighting over lunch money.
Anyone can be bought and sold. Not anyone, but most people can be bought and sold. And that's unfortunately what I think is happening right now, is that we have a presidency, or we have a president.
It's not even just the presidency, dude. It's the whole lot. Like, no one. You could put the best president in the world, the best president. You could put John F. Kennedy himself into the White House tomorrow, and he's not going to get shit done, because the parties are just so fucking polarized. And if they're not polarized,
he was just using one for instance, because there's so many people that think
No,
JFK was just the best.
No, I'm totally cool.
I'm just using him as an example, because he's always held up as this great.
I'm not polarized at all. Like I have.
No, I didn't say. I said the political parties, and the bigger problem is that if they are not polarized, if they are not so far apart that they just can't agree, it means they're fucking in cahoots with each other, and that's even scarier. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, well,
if the Democrats and the Republicans, if their problems and their inability to agree isn't because they are completely opposed to each other, it means that they're behind closed doors. They're saying, let's fight in public and kiss behind the stage.
If we aren't arguing with each other, then we might realize how corrupt they are, and then we might go against them. And they don't want that. So,
like, I've spoken to a bunch of Democrats online, and they're almost embarrassed to say they're Democrats because of what I refer to as the vocal minority. Or what I actually I don't even call it the vocal minority anymore. It's the wocal minority. They're so damn loud that common sense on the left is drowned out, and what little common sense is left on excuse the pun, is left on the left is too embarrassed to stand up.
That whole woke shit, it's gonna go away. It's gonna go away. People are waking up to the woke shit, man.
I'm gonna gap because I've said my piece and I want to hear more about from Koolfrogg and Shirts, and unfortunately Koolfrogg and Shirts are far too polite to ask me to shut up. So I want to hear more of their thoughts.
Well,
So I'm gonna
because we
bolt.
like opinions and we like everybody to speak their opinions and be able to be heard as well.
And I appreciate that, but I've said what I want to say, and
pertain.
now I want to hear
Sure.
what you guys have to think in response to that. So I'm going to bounce, and I'm going to keep the stream open and listen to what you guys have to say in the background. And if you have any direct questions, then just DM me. And
my chat's not linking again, so if you leave a chat, I'm actually have my studio open so I can actually try staying with chat on the YouTube side. So if you say something over there, I'll try catching it.
Yeah, but no, thank you very much for having me on and letting me vent, because this is one that's bothering me. So
Yeah,
really
absolutely.
appreciate
Yeah,
the
I
outlet
mean,
and love what you guys are doing. So thanks.
Yeah. You have a good one.
Peace, brothers.
Later.
Later, man.
He's a cool dude.
Yeah, I really like Apostle. He's fun. Seriously, I sat on stream with him for like an hour and a half before I started this. So
I didn't do anything offensive or anything, right? Like, do you think I?
No. He's
he's
like I said. I just sat on stream with him for like an hour and a half of of his own stream before he came over here. So
right, and he's been trying to like give Koolfrogg some tips and pointers of different technological things and so forth. I think, right? Like Koolfrogg, like he's been kind of throwing his 2 cents in to try to help you out with different things and so forth.
Most of our conversations end up going talking about religion of sorts.
Oh yeah, like on his channel. But I mean, like when he comes over here and he just kind of sits underneath there for the past couple of days, he's like kind of listening in a little bit, and like maybe throwing out like a pointer or two or something or whatever.
Right, he listens in, and he likes to hear the coverage from from us or whatever, and it's because it pertains to the rest of the world usually when we talk about stuff that's happening here in the States. So,
right.
Let's see. Hold on here. So
an awesome place.
Susie said, "I live in the Cold Lake area. Weapons range pretty remote in some spots. Have caribou herd, and they only increase in size each year. Oh, and seen a flying fish one year. That was the coolest thing ever. And it was an eagle carrying a fish. Yeah, I've seen flying fish because there's flying fish that have been infiltrating the Mississippi River or whatever. They've been moving themselves north as they actually take over territories because they're a very invasive style of fish. She said later, Kiwi. Kiwi says, "You're good, Dwight. I just didn't want to dominate the stream. I'm a guest, not a host." And that's we always like his comments or whatever. So he has a tendency to give us a good rant. We're going to let him rant.
Well, yeah, I mean,
just as well as yourself.
He obviously wanted to get that off of his chest. It's something that he hadn't been able to cover with other people, but since we were talking about it, he wanted to like throw it out there.
Right.
He
throw this
normally
link out
doesn't
to
even
different
go
people
that
or
long,
whatever
to be
that are out
perfectly
there. So if
honest.
there's somebody out there that wants
So-
to join us or whatever, I'm not opposed to it.
I like
That's
debate,
neat. It was
man.
the
I'm all about debate. It doesn't matter if I even agree. Like, you could pick any topic and you could pick which side for me to choose, and I could debate against or for that topic.
Wrong.
I
Wrong.
love debate.
We don't debate around. We don't debate around here. We just throw out opinions and thoughts, and
That was
let
a very
people
good
know
point,
how
but
we
it
feel
happens to be wrong.
about different
Wrong.
things.
I'm just kidding.
Just wrong.
I'm just kidding.
Just-
It happens to be what? It's wrong? No, no.
No, we're
It's a Trump quote. It's like
It's a
he's
Trump
like
quote.
in the debate. He's like, "Oh, that
Wrong.
was very nice, but it happens to be wrong." It's like I'm just joking. No, I'm just joking. We played a couple of
Here, let's-
montages of that.
let's-
I don't know if you
let's-
remember that.
Let's switch it up a little bit. Let's
I'm
talk
just
about
saying,
this.
devil's advocate. I'm always there on devil's advocate, man. I like, it in order to find truth, you have to figure out both sides, right? That's why I watch right wing shit. I watch left wing shit.
And that's why you notice when I pull up articles, I don't always pull up articles from one particular source. I go from one side of the realm to the next.
And well,
Bing bong, wrong.
You must
Exactly,
let
Robyn.
us take over.
I wish my chat was actually updating correctly or whatever, because you guys aren't seeing what YouTube is actually saying.
Oh, Robyn. Bing bong,
the
bing,
left
bing bong.
wing
Bing
people
bong, wrong.
always boot my ass. The left wing people always boot my ass. The right wing people, I can disagree with them all day and they'll fucking argue with me. But the left wing, man, they do not like criticism. They do not like debate. They
No,
don't
right,
like
exactly. So there's been a couple people that have jumped
Tyrants
in here
want to
and
arrest their
asked like
political
one
opponents.
small question, and if we
Simple
don't
as that.
answer it the way they want, they go and they take off and never come back. It's like, oh okay, that's awesome. Glad that you're so open-minded with your leftism. Susie says you have to look at the writing. It is neat to see the different styles. Yeah. So here, let's check this out here real quick.
I don't think they should overturn Roe v. Wade. Sorry, fellas.
We're not going to go there right now.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about this instead.
That's just-
Because
that's just-
Iran makes biggest nuke announcement yet. I wouldn't do that, especially with my leftism. So it says, since the dawn of nuclear weapons, there's been a concern that who has them and what they are going to use them for. As nuclear energy is used to a variety of energy purposes, the nuclear race between Iran and Saudi Arabia has been back and forth for some time. In 2018, President Donald Trump, as part of the maximum pressure campaign, officially abandoned the July 2015 nuclear deal Trump's predecessor, Barack Obama, orchestrated between Iran and several world powers. Under the terms of the agreement, Iran ostensibly agreed to dismantle much of the nuclear program and open its facilities to more international inspection in exchange for relief for biting economic sanctions. Later, the Biden administration indicated its willingness to sign on to an agreement to revive the Iran nuclear deal, formerly known as the Joint Comprehensive Plan of Action, but efforts so far have not amounted to much. In direct talks between the U.S. and Iran, Russia serving as a go-between, have been stalled since March. Even as it pursues diplomatic efforts with Iran, the Biden administration also continues to assure the allies of the region it will not allow Iran to become a nuclear power. President Biden visiting the Middle East in person has brought these issues to the forefront. Biden's recent 4-day trip to Israel and Saudi Arabia marked his first visit to the area since taking office. During the visit to Israel, a pledge was signed between the UW and Israel. Quote, the United States stresses the integral to this pledge is commitment never to allow Iran to acquire a nuclear weapon and that it is prepared to use all elements of the national power to ensure that outcome. After visiting Israel, Biden's next stop was Saudi Arabia, where he landed on Friday. Reuters reported Saturday that the joint statement put out in the Saudi state news agency, the U.S. and Saudi Arabia agreed on the importance of stopping Iran from acquiring a nuclear weapon. The statement went on to say Biden also affirmed the U.S. commitment to supporting Saudi Arabia's security and territorial defense and facilitating the kingdom's ability to obtain necessary capabilities to defend its people and territory against external threats. The high-profile visit to Israel and Saudi Arabia and the resulting agreements did not go unnoticed by Iran and prompted a response. Earlier this week, Iranian President Ebrahim Raisi promised a harsh and regrettable response. If the U.S. and its allies were to make a mistake concerning Iran, Al Jazeera wrote, Iran was accused of the United States of trying to incite tensions across the Middle East through Iranophobia, the charge coming a day after Joe Biden ended his first tour of the region as U.S. president. Quote, the U.S. is once more trying to create tensions and crisis across the region through relying on failed policy of Iranophobia. Deflecting attention on the U.S. nuclear history, Iran accused the U.S. of being a factor. The statement said the U.S. was the first country to deploy a nuclear bomb that it constantly interferes with other countries' affairs, has launched armed conflicts, and has sold massive amounts of arms across the region, referring to Washington's continued support on Iran's arch enemy, Israel. The main accessory to continued occupation in Palestinian lands, daily crimes and regime against Palestinians, and the apartheid. So, I'm going to stop right there because, some of this is really kind of interesting and ironic in itself when you actually start thinking about it. And you go back to the predecessor of Donald Trump and what he did in the region in causing peace, creating as much peace as he possibly could across all of these countries, picking up 4 different nominations for Nobel Peace Prize to only turn around and not get it is just ridiculous and stupid. This administration is going back to the Obama administration's way and actually trying to create more division. It's freaking stupid. Let's see, what's this? Robyn says, Koolfrogg, I actually don't even know what leftism means, so I'm glad I didn't say it out loud. This is, let's see, Susie says, this is to build up the nuclear programs, nothing about dismantling anything. I don't bet on suckers. I buy them in the store. Robyn says, really though, I hope I don't. I'm reading this because it's not populating, and I got chewed out last night for not reading chat. I hope I didn't say anything inappropriate. No, this is one of those concerns that allowed opinions. It wasn't a real opinion. I just jumped in chat and really knowing what is going on. So it's just something that would be ignored. I'm not ignoring chat. I have some opinions that come from either side of the political spectrum. That is why I'm more independent. I thought you were being funny, Robyn. Oh no, you said it out loud. I did. I said it out loud. LOL. Because it's not tying itself to chat again. I really don't know what. Really getting sick and tired of Restream's bullshit, and it's the 11th of next month that the last day of Restream actually is, and on the 12th it will be StreamYard. I'm done with Restream. Fuck off, Restream. You suck. Hey, Medic Mitchell, how's it going?
Yo.
Shirts, you got an opinion on this?
No. I mean, Iran is basically being Iran. I mean, they just keep going with what they're doing.
How about you, Dwight? You got anything to say about that?
Man, America likes to be fucking. They like to be the ones that operate the world, and we're doing a pretty fucking shitty job of it lately. And if Iran if they get nukes, then
do you think they don't already have nukes?
No, they don't. No, it's probably the same shit as like they pulled in the fucking early or after 9/11. They're like, oh, we're gonna get Osama bin Laden in Afghanistan. Oh, by the way, we've got this ICE thing going on too. We'll just set in there and it's I don't know. Fuck. But what's the preliminary religion in Iran? That's something to be a big concern because it's a pretty valid thing that could cause disruption. Do you guys know?
Wait, what?
I'm sorry, your question. Say that again.
Did I break up? I'm sorry. No.
Not necessarily all the way, but I didn't quite catch the point of the question.
What's the primary religion in Iran?
Oh, Shia Islam.
It's Islam, right? And
Right.
they
It's generally Islam. I want to say that Christianity has been growing in the area.
Oh yeah,
I
like
don't
40% of the people consider themselves to be atheists at this point. I mean, their whole theocracy bullshit is collapsing in on itself. And the people have been having protests. They were having protests there, like 2018 and into 2019 for a while there. I haven't heard too much about that since then, but their whole sort of control over the people religiously has gone to crap. So I don't know how all that's going to work out, but
see, well, and that could be a good thing or a bad thing. Like I talk a lot of shit about Christianity because, I mean, a lot of bad shit's happened from Islam or whatever the fuck their religion's called, and a lot of bad shit's happened from Christianity. I mean, Christians, okay, I like to say the fucked up thoughts that no one wants to talk about. But Christians used to go around and they used to fucking slaughter people because they didn't fucking think the way that they thought. And they said, if you don't think the way that we think, then we're gonna fucking kill you. And that's why religion is such an important aspect to take into the equation of if they get nukes or not. Because if they do get nukes, and they're primarily fucking thinking like, well, we must kill all evildoers that don't think like we do, then that's a pretty big fucking problem. And we should probably bomb them before they bomb anyone else, and that's a hypocritic fucking problem. But I mean, I don't know. I'm at a loss on that.
yeah, there are so many varying factors with Iran. They are their own bird, I would say. Saudi Arabia is more of a, uh, shall we say, predictable country since we have not only better relations with them, but we know them more. The internals of what goes on in Iran is uh, very secretive. There's not a lot of. It's like the Islamic hermit kingdom, like like that which goes in does not often come out. So
Saudi Arabia has a lot more power than people fucking give them credit for. Saudi Arabia.
I mean they're the oil producer. They're the money, the currency of the United States, based basically on Saudi oil. As soon as OPEC would drop that, dollar would crash. I mean,
let's just say that Joe Biden, whoever the Prince of Saudi Arabia is, Joe Biden's rubbing his fucking balls because that's just how it's been. That's what. I don't want to get too conspiracy on here. I don't want to get myself in trouble, but fucking Bin Laden was in Saudi Arabia the whole time. Like, get the fuck out of here.
Yeah, that was in the yep. Congressional reports said that. Yep.
They're spending time and money having motherfuckers search. Like, this motherfucker's gonna be living in a cave or a cave. He was like fucking Jesus to these fucking people, and they're searching.
How many times? Watch the F word for me. That'd be awesome.
Oh, sorry.
You just dropped like 4 of them in one sentence. It's like, it's not a necessary word for English language to be actually spoken. So I mean, you just kind of.
But it's very
not being mean. I'm just asking you watch yourself.
Yeah, I will, man, and I can appreciate that. But I will say that it's a very versatile word. It's an adjective.
It is a very versatile word and can be used so many ways in so many forms. It's fun.
Yeah.
Especially when you can actually joke with the word and make it.
Yeah, I should be more precise in my speech, and then that way I won't have to use a word to fill in the shit that I don't know what to say at. If that made any sense, I don't know. But when I'm missing an adjective, I just throw it in there because it helps my
when I'm missing an adjective.
Thoughts flow. It helps my thoughts flow quicker. Instead of thinking of the specific word, I'll just say fucking. Like, that's just It's easier that way.
Yeah, but you need to
Yeah, I'm sorry.
put it in those certain spots where it actually makes some impact on
Right.
when
Yeah.
you're using
Yeah.
it, as opposed to just using it willy nilly, and it makes it worthless word.
All
LOL.
right.
Susie
Hey,
says, "LOL, Dwight,
hey,
try
hey,
fire truck."
hey, hey. Thanks, Mom. You fire truck. Jesus.
So, I mean, what's next? Do you want to talk Bannon? Should we wait 15 minutes to talk Bannon?
Pam and me and Shirts get into it bad about Famine because he's too cutesy pie about
So,
it. I'm all mean.
so let's wait a few minutes for it then, if we're gonna do that. We'll do this one first. These are the 47 House Republicans who voted for a bill protecting marriage equality. So they went and they passed this through the House, approved the measure titled the Respect for Marriage Act, 267 to 157. 7 Republicans did not vote. A total of 47 Republicans joined the Democrats in supporting this measure. And it lists all the Republicans that actually joined the measure. It says Gonzalez, Kinzinger, Kotko, Upton, and Jacobs are not seeking re-election this year, and Davis and Rice lost their primaries for the re-election. Zeldin is currently running to governor of New York. So there's a bunch of Republicans that went and threw their name in there and said, yeah, go ahead and do that because we're not going to be here anyway, so we're not going to catch any flack for it. Among the more notable yes votes were Stefanik, who is the House GOP conference chair, Emmer, the chairman of the National Republican Congressional Committee, and the Hill reached out to these offices for comment. The bill seeks to repeal the Defense of Marriage Act, a measure that Congress passed in a bipartisan fashion and former President Clinton signed into law in 1996, that acknowledged marriage as only a legal union between one man and one woman, or husband and wife. Additionally, the measure defines spouse as a person of the opposite sex who is a husband or a wife. The legislation passed on Tuesday, which faces uncertain fate in the Senate, would roll back the 1996 law and require that couples be considered married if they tied the knot in the state where the marriage was lawful. The House Judiciary Committee said that the provision would ensure the same-sex and interracial couples receive equal treatment to other married individuals on the federal level. The measure also authorizes the Attorney General to initiate civil action against individuals who breach the legislation and gives people the authority to launch civil action if their rights as laid out in the bill were violated. Its a passage in the House comes less than 1 month after the Supreme Court issued a ruling that overturned Roe v. Wade. Justice Clarence Thomas wrote a concurring opinion to the decision and called it the reversal of 2 landmark decisions protecting LGBTQ rights. The conservative justice said that the bench would should reconsider all substantive due process precedents established by the court, naming Lawrence v. Texas, the 2003 ruling that barred states from outlawing consensual gay sex, and Obergefell Hodges of the 2015 rule protected same-sex marriage as a constitutional right. Mace wrote in the statement that she voted for the bill because she believes 2 individuals, regardless of race or gender or orientation, should be allowed to marry if they want to. Quote, I always will support the right of any American to marry. This vote is no different. I believe any 2 people, regardless of the color of their skin or gender or orientation or otherwise, should be free to enter into marriage together. If gay couples want to be as happily and miserably married as straight couples, more power to them. I like how they put the miserably in there. That's funny. Bacon said that while he believes in a traditional definition of marriage, he does not believe the government should dictate who can marry each other based on gender, race, or ethnicity. He noted that he made his decision to vote yes after talking to faith and community leaders. Churches and synagogues, mosques, and other religious establishments have the right to decide within the walls of the congregation who they will perform marriages for, but the federal government does not. This has been a law for 7 years, and many thousands have been married with this as law of the land. Americans should have the right to the private lives, and Supreme Court showed that all viewpoints can be respected. In a video posted on Twitter following Tuesday's vote, Meyer said that he supported the measure because he viewed the Supreme Court decision overturning Roe as a bench telling Congress to do its job and not rely on the court to legislate. I don't see it that way. I don't know where Meyer's coming from. This is a quote: "What happened with the Dobbs concurrence by Justice Thomas was this question of the constitutional basis of those Supreme Court decisions," he said, pointing to Obergefell and Loving v. Virginia, a 1967 case that protects interracial marriage. And what this court has said, they've said, Congress, do your job. Don't rely on the courts to do the legislating. Take up the legislation yourself. And that's frankly what the bill was. He continued saying that the bill is an effort to ensure there isn't absolute chaos in the Obergefell or Loving were if Obergefell or Loving were overturned. The Michigan Republican noted, however, that he does not believe there is a current threat to the political appetite to threaten Obergefell or Loving. I voted in favor of these things tonight. I think it's the right choice for the limited government standpoint, from a liberty standpoint, and frankly, just from avoiding any circumstance where that type of chaos could come down the line. AmericaShirts.
Well, what do we say? But wow, what a load of a horse shite from
Right.
these.
What's the point of needing
individuals.
these laws at all? Who cares what people do? Stop
I mean,
writing
exactly.
laws that are irrelevant to the human nature.
You cannot
If somebody loves somebody, they're gonna be with them whether you tell them they can or not. Hold on here. Robyn says, "Okay, I'll stop being scared to state my opinion. Government has no right to tell anyone how they decide to live their lives, period. Whether U.S. or Canada or otherwise, it makes me sad. This had to become such a controversial topic." Go ahead, Dwight. Your turn.
That's that's not the argument though, Koolfrogg. The fucking argument is, it should people be able to be in a joining of people, which it started out as a religious thing, and now it's more of a government thing, anyways.
Exactly.
But should they be allowed to? And the argument is old because it's old on the religious side, and the fucking the government has no fucking problem with it. They're totally fucking cool. They don't give a shit. The Republicans might say they give a shit, but that's only because they have to stand up for Republican viewpoints.
Because the government was never involved in this. The government had no role in marriage. Marriage has always been a religious thing. For the government to come in and tell you, oh, hey, we're going to allow you to have a marriage or you to have a marriage. This is just the government trying to control who you actually get to have a marital relationship with or not. Like, that's the whole goal. Like, that's the reason why marriage licenses even came into existence, is because they didn't want blacks and whites intermarrying, because they wanted to try and do eugenics with it. Like, that was the whole shtick. Like, oh, if you're mentally ill, if we don't like you, maybe we won't allow you to get married, and then we'll arrest you for something or another because you're finagling with someone else's daughter or wife or whatever. It's like, well, no, like, I want to get married to her. We're going to elope. We're going to whatever. It's like, no, you can't do that because we don't consider you to be fit for marriage or whatever. Like, that's the whole thing with the government. They're wanting to control marriage. They're not, and that's the thing. It's like, oh, we're protecting marriage. No, you're controlling it. That's the whole purpose of this. It is a religious issue. If someone wants to go off and do their thing with themselves, whatever. Like, that's their business. I don't approve, but that's not the government's role to be participating in this at any level at all.
Yeah,
it's just not.
Yeah, fuck them on. Or, sorry, screw them on trying to screw them on trying to be involved in something that's supposed to be very like intimate thing between two people, and they want to put government papers on it.
Right.
You know, and yeah, I don't care if it's two dudes, it's two chicks, or if it's two nils or what zins or whatever the fuck, whatever the hell. So, I'm sorry, bro. I'm sorry. I'm trying, dude. Yeah, I'm trying. But like, who cares, man? You know, like who freaking cares, dude?
I mean, there's
like,
moral arguments to be made. There's religious arguments to be made, but it doesn't have anything to do with the government.
Look, if I was in love with a man, all right, and me and this man wanted to get married, all right, replace the chick in Braveheart with a dude, and it was like a movie, all right, I'm gonna go get married, you know, even though the king says you can't do this. This is, you know, we get to you guys know Braveheart, you know, that it's like where they put in the thing where they get to bang the wife before she gets married or whatever, but it's like,
hey, Dwight's girlfriend, how's it going?
Oh, he heard you. He heard.
Oh yeah, we can hear her. We can totally hear her.
She's not.
It's fine. I like it.
Not very good at it. She's not. But anyways, like,
I'll be quiet. Sorry.
Like Braveheart,
you're fine.
You know, it's a religious ceremony. It's always been a religious ceremony. It's supposed to be a religious ceremony, and fuck the government for needing to be involved at all. If you think you need to be, like, I would only get married if it helped me on my taxes. Like that's the only reason I'd fucking do it. I mean,
your girlfriend's not happy with that decision. I think you need to rethink that one a little bit.
Well, I always say the truth no matter what. She's used to it.
I'm gonna be quiet.
No, don't be quiet. Tell him how you feel. Tell him that you actually want something more other than you're gone.
You're gonna start the pot. You're gonna start some shit. You're gonna start some shit between us.
Sitting over here with my cauldron. There's nothing going on over here. I just got my cauldron and my big, huge wooden spoon.
Let's make your guys' show Jerry Springer. That would be amazing.
Hey, yeah. Well,
that could be interesting. That would be fun.
We need more like we can only beat each up. We can only beat each other up verbally. We can't fight physically. So it's
okay. Hold on here. Robyn says, but marriage certificates goes with church, and the government are in bed together, aren't they? Because here you are, or here you have to sign a government certificate right at the church. Now, or it says, how can it not have anything to do with the government? I'm seriously interested to know, is it different in the U.S.? It's a religious ceremony, but it's the government contract. Am I wrong, AmericaShirts?
Well, again,
he's not married. I am. I'll tell you right now. Yeah, the government has everything to do with it. I had to actually go down to the courthouse or whatever, pay the $50 to get the certificate to get married. I could pick whoever I wanted to get, to do the marriage for me. And then the paper had to be signed and brought back to the
if you want
to the courthouse to be signed by them. and
Do you want to
then
be someone that can
that
marry
we're
people that
for
cost
them to print
money?
out a certificate saying that I'm married. So yes, the government has everything to do with it.
I mean, we're talking here from a perspective of what should be done. We're not saying that this is the reality of the situation right now.
Right.
So the reality of the situation at this point in time, as time has progressed in the United States, is that the government is involved in these things, and as she described, the same as with Canada, albeit she was saying that the government's like right outside the church after you're done with stuff. So it's like, oh, that's a little invasive, but like, I mean, but
Sure.
right. The reality of it is that they are involved right now. We're talking about whether or not they should be, or again, like the original founding of the nation, the government, whether it be local, state, or federal, at any level within our levels of government, did not have anything to do with this. This was purely a religious thing. It was purely a personal thing. And that was the way it was at the beginning of the nation until, of course, like I was describing, time has progressed. People have thrown their agendas around with this, trying to control who gets married and who doesn't, who they try to allow to legally be together and who doesn't. That's what we're talking about. Is like, that's wrong. We don't believe that should be happening, but it is the reality of the situation at this point in time. So yeah, I hope that answers the question there.
Yeah, you're pretty on point, man. You're pretty on point. But
He always is. That's why he's my co-host.
if I'm married, though, it's not going to be under some fucking government idea. Or sorry, now you're catching myself. It's not going to be under any government deal. It's going to be something in the forest, some hippie shit, and just like whatever.
He's already planning our marriage.
No, I've had my marriage plan my whole life. Like a little girl in a prom dress, I've always planned my marriage, and it's never included the government
Or me.
or this bitch.
Again, wow. Such rough words to that young woman. She shouldn't be treated like that. She treat her a little bit better than what you do.
She knows.
Again, I'm over here with my big, huge cauldron and a big, huge, long wooden
Pot
spoon.
of shit just stirring it around there, Koolfrogg. Better take it easy there with that stirring there, Koolfrogg. It's sloshing out all over the place. You better slow down.
Easing up on the era of Newt. No more era of Newt in that pot you're stirring.
Settle down, Dwight.
Settle down, Dwight.
And then she says,
Go ahead.
That is what dictates your taxes for the next year too, right?
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, there's different ways that you can actually file the taxes. You can file separate but married. You can file married. You can file. You still have to actually mark it as that you're actually married, though. So it is something that, once you actually do get married, you do have to actually file it as some way, whether you might file in single married or as being married.
Koolfrogg, since you're married, I'm gonna assume that you do the whatever the natural deduction or whatever the hell they call it, just the regular deduction.
Standard and
the standard deduction.
I would imagine.
Well, and then there's
there's
people that have like a bunch of money and they mark, right? I just do the regular deduction, but being married, assuming that you do the just the regular deduction, has it helped any? Well, I mean, you can't really compare it in the past years, but
Absolutely not.
Do you have any benefits in that? Like, is there any benefits?
No, absolutely not. Because, say I owe on, I'm just going to use, for instance, say I owe on a debt and we go and we file married together. The debt can actually collect the whole lump sum. Whereas if we go and we file as married single, they take my money and not hers. So there's ways to, to actually look at certain things depending on your own financial situations. You know, because like I own child support or whatever. I'm not going to go and file married together and then have child support go and take my money and hers. It's not fair to her. It's not her child support.
Right.
The child support goes to a previous child from a previous relationship.
But if you
So-
guys did it together, maybe you could knock it up faster.
Right. If my wife was willing to actually not see that tax return come back.
Yeah. But if,
So it's really dependent on how you know you feel about it. We have the tendency to do the married thing or whatever and file together or whatever just because I'm currently doing the at-home dad thing for my youngest while she's actually working because she had the potential of making more money straight out right away. So I mean, eventually, once he's in school, I may actually pick up some kind of a part-time day job or whatever, just to, you know, subsidize certain things or whatever to actually keep
You
us
poor
you know,
bastard.
keep us going. So I enjoy it. I love, you know, taking care of the child all day. It's just it's wonderful.
I think that's amazing.
And he learns, yeah, and he learns so much. And you know, the hard thing is like I said, you know, there's debts and there's other things that happen or whatever. So it's like, you know, she just like threw a couple $100 at my child support that I owe or whatever, you know, so that way we're not running arrearages on it or whatever. We don't want to, you know, run into another debt that's not going to help us. So I mean, it happens, you know. So
You can't be.
I think it's amazing that you're taking child at home, because I think that nowadays you absolutely have to keep an eye on everything.
Well,
that's
yeah,
going on.
children should be taken care of
exactly.
by their parents and
So
not.
that's an admirable thing for you to do.
Anybody that wants to actually support me and help me out on that, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/Coolfrog and you can donate immediately.
He just said, "Fuck, bitch." Get on your phone, buy him a coffee. She said it. She said it. Where she got to go again, Koolfrogg? Get on your phone.
Buymeacoffee.com/Coolfrog, and that's KOOLFROGG.
Oh shit!
What kind of coffee do you like, Koolfrog?
No, the coffee's money. It's
this money is basically what it is. It's a way of actually giving a donation. It's in a free website that doesn't cost me anything to actually post anything there, and then I can actually promote that as opposed to worrying about waiting for 1,000 subs on YouTube to be monetized. So it's just a way to actually.
I was wondering why the buy me a coffee thing.
I am a promoter of your Koolfrogg.com thing, so I'm gonna.
Awesome, thank you. I love it.
Is there a Koolfrogg.com?
Anything? Well, it's that buy me a coffee at .com/Coolfrog. That's what it is for now.
I'm gonna spend $10 tonight and buy Koolfrogg.com.
Any comments that are left on there will be actually read live on stream the next day.
I'm gonna make you pay me like $10,000 for it once you're.
Oh, let's see here real quick. It says, Robyn says, I know this is the same time, whether it's marriage between men, women, and men, women, etc. If you say that marriage is uniquely the church again, it's not just religious. The government is right there. Exactly. She's going along with the I'm all for love, but it pisses me off when the government asks us to either label our love or profit from it. Just saying. But again, I don't know all of the laws in the U.S. versus Canada. Not trying to piss anyone off here tonight. No, absolutely not, Robyn. You're not going to piss anybody off. Your opinions are always relevant, and we're always going to accept anybody. Hello, Stray Cat Sway. How's it going?
Oh, hey. Hello. I do have one piece of important news that I completely forgot about earlier. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. It is said that Biden is to declare a climate emergency in the United States today.
Yeah,
Wednesday.
today.
I don't know if that was on your docket there, Koolfrogg. But
I didn't. I was just looking through different articles, and I seriously didn't have anything on a specific docket. As you see, that I didn't post anything in show setup.
let me see if I want to pull this up here.
Stray Cat's Way, what's the topic? Politics and news. We always do politics and news unless otherwise
This
noted.
is a bit of a dystopian
Give me
article
cigarettes,
here. If I can, okay, we have it pulled up here.
Go in a little further.
This is
on
from
that.
Newsweek. It says, for a while now, there have been rumblings that President Joe Biden will declare a climate emergency in the United States. Senate Democrats are urging him to do so after the Democrat Senator Joe Manchin's refusal last week to back his party's spending plans to tackle climate change. So the Dems didn't get their bill across in the legislative branch. So let's just get our puppet potato to push the climate agenda on everybody through executive order and executive fiat. That's what we'll do. The president
I love how I just always go back every time I hear executive order. I always hear him saying, "Only a dictator runs the country off of executive order."
Yeah.
When he was
Wait,
pointing fingers at
Dino?
Donald Trump.
Is this guy a dino that you guys are talking about?
I mean,
No,
Joe
we're talking
Biden
about
kind
Joe
of
Biden.
reminds you of a bit of a dinosaur, a little bit.
No,
His
no,
skin
like
is beginning to turn scaly.
Prehistoric.
I don't know if
dinosaur.
that's the lizard coming out or not.
No,
I'm just kidding.
like Democrat in name only. Like rhinos are Republican in name only. It's
Yeah, but it's usually that they're actually acting in the other side's favor or whatever to actually call him something like that or whatever. So no, he's not a Democrat in name only. He is a straight up communistic Democrat.
all right. So he's a commie. Let's hear about him.
Right. So Susie says, it is pushing a new tax on us. Lots of us can't afford the extra tax. Yeah, exactly.
Oh yeah.
Nope,
This
they're
is
going to try
saying
peddling
here,
more taxes. Go ahead.
It says, and an emergency order would allow Biden to direct federal funding to, quote, clean energy products and give him broad powers to restrict oil drilling and curb fossil fuel flows. Bloomberg reported. Now, again, they're already shoving us off a cliff. There is no clean energy projects that are efficient to be able to sustain the amount of power that is needed in the United States. It doesn't exist. And so, again, giving him these broad sweeping power, giving himself, because again, this is Newsweek, this is a little bit more of a left-wing perspective, but this is the dystopian view that they're trying to paint over and be like, oh, it's just beautiful. Oh, it's wonderful. We'll just give the president all this power over everything. We'll let him give himself that power, I should say. And it would give him broad powers to restrict oil drilling. Well, we've already restricted oil drilling and curbing fossil fuels. They're already doing that. So what is he just going to just order that it all just stop instantly? The Washington Post quoted top White House economic advisor Jared Bernstein as saying that Biden will, quote, aggressively fight and attack climate change. Realistically, there is a lot that he can do, he also added. And then this goes on to say, what is a climate emergency? The Cambridge Dictionary defines a climate emergency as a, quote, serious and urgent problems that are being caused by or likely to be caused by changes in the world's weather, in particular, the world getting warmer as a result of human activity increasing the level of carbon dioxide in the atmosphere. UNEP, or UNEP, otherwise known as the United Nations Environmental Program. See, here we go, ladies and gentlemen, right? The president has an executive order, and then, we're just going to follow underneath of UN protocols and plans for, climate change type of things, Like, this isn't a dystopian hell they want to create and, just do this top-down thing via the United Nations. Like, they're not just going to do, no, they are. Here we are. Explains how the current climate emergency is a direct result of climate change. The organization helped set up the Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change, which released a report explaining that, quote, climate change is real, and human activities largely and release And human activities, largely the release of polluting gases from burning fossil fuel, coal, oil, and gas, is the main cause. Again, Intergovernmental Panel on Climate Change. And again, that was helped by the UN. So, go back there. You can find below through a thorough expansion from the UNEP of the impacts and effects of climate change. Quote, impacts of a 1.1 degree increase are here today in the increased frequency and magnitude of extreme weather events from heat waves, droughts, flooding, winter storms, hurricanes, and wildfires, says the IPCC. In here, they have listed the global average temperature in 2019 was 1.1 degrees Celsius above the pre-industrial period, according to the World Meteorological Organization, WMO, again, World Meteorological, United Nations, Intergovernmental, all these wonderful terms, these lovely globalist terms that we use here all the time, because again, this is all prefaced by Joe Biden announcing a climate emergency in the United States, possibly tomorrow. I read several articles today. I was looking at several different places where people were talking about he's going to announce Wednesday there's a climate emergency and that we need to have sweeping executive powers. So I don't know if it's going to happen tomorrow, next week, sometime later this week. Maybe it won't happen at all. I don't know. But that's the go around. That's what they're pushing for because, again, they didn't get their legislation through. So they've got to push this because that's the thing. This is the plan. They got to push this. They got to push us off a cliff economically and with the power supply and with everything. They got to push everything off a cliff now or else, midterms might come up and then whoops, that's why there's the monkeypox. That's why there's, oh no, there's another coof thing. There's another whatever. They just got to keep pushing this because this is their agenda. This is the Great Reset. You will own nothing and they'll own everything and they'll be very happy and you'll be poor and miserable. 30% of the world's population is exposed to deadly heat waves more than 20 days a year. Average temperatures for the 5-year, 10-year periods are the highest on record. And based on today's insufficient global commitments to reduce climate change, to reduce climate polluting emissions, a rebound in greenhouse gases from a return to high carbon societies after the pandemic may push 2030 emissions even higher, up to 60. Oh, look at that. 2030 emissions. See, this they're telling you this is Agenda 2030.
2030, right around the same time that they want everybody to pretty much be driving around in electric
Exactly.
cars.
Every one of these global organizations has the date 2030 marked down. The World Economic Forum, like WHO, obviously that's involved with the UN. Each one of these people has a marker of 2030 when all these things need to be done and all these things need to be enacted. And that's the thing. They have a deadline. They have a plan, they have it scheduled, and they have deadlines that they need to meet. And sometimes these deadlines get shifted back and forth a little bit. But generally speaking, like around this time, like we need to make sure that we're moving everything in this direction so that by 2030, we get accomplished what we want to get accomplished. That's why there's this push, because it's these globalist hackies in our government that are pushing this and that are shoving us off a cliff. Again, there is no green infrastructure. It does not exist. I don't care how many solar panels that they put up. It's not enough to power a city. It is not going to do it. You are pushing us into utter collapse. It's the only thing they want. They want a total economic depression and they want to send everything into a tailspin like in Sri Lanka and everything just goes batshit. And that's what they want. And then they come in and swoop control like Bill Gates is doing now with the coof thing, right? Oh, there's an emergency. Oh, there's a pandemic. Oh, hey, look, don't worry, farmers. We know you can't sell your meat, but Bill Gates will buy your land from you, or Bill Gates will take it off your hands since you have it up for sale with this real estate broker. Bill Gates will buy that for you. Again, you're not going to own anything. We'll run you out of business. We'll shove you off a cliff economically. And so this is their plan. This is what they want. And here they are telling you, look, it may push the 2030 emissions
and you'll
even
be
higher.
happy.
Will Joe Biden declare a climate emergency in the U.S.? It is likely that Biden will declare a climate emergency in the U.S. So that's Newsweek's statement to you. Biden is likely to declare an emergency in the U.S. And again, in the UK, they're going batshit with this stuff now. I mean, they're like, oh my God, it's this, it's that. And then people are pulling up on Twitter like, hey, it was 10 degrees higher in the 80s. Like 1996 or something, or 1997. Like it was like 10 degrees higher than it is now in the UK. Why is the UK going crazy? Why is this going crazy? And like the UK is going crazy with this. Other nations are going crazy with this now. Of course, you see the stuff with the farmers in Europe, especially in the Netherlands. There's people in Italy starting to have a little bit of an uprising there as well against some of this stuff from the EU and from their own governmental parliaments there within their respective nations. This is, again, it's like, why are all these nations doing this? Because they're all underneath the same plan. They all have the same orders. They're all from these globalist people at the top. You guys do this, you guys push this, and then, this is the plan. You'll own nothing, you'll be happy. This is the great reset. And that's what they want. He could do so as early as this week. This comes as several U.S. states have been experiencing extreme and unusual weather, from heat waves to droughts to heavy thunderstorms. Well, we've never experienced heavy thunderstorms in the United States. I mean, this is just batshit. This is just stupid. There is no scientific substantiation for this. This is absolute batshit. And again, why is that? Because they have their orders. They have to keep pushing this. Elections are coming around the corner in the United States. There's other different deadlines and things they have to meet in other countries. And so they all got to catch up eventually. They all got to get it started. And they all got to get it moving in this direction. That's what they want. So you heard it here, ladies and gentlemen, and I haven't heard it from too many other places today, that Biden possibly tomorrow, or at least some point this week, will try and announce via executive fiat that we're under a climate emergency. And again, the thing in, let's say, for example, like the Koof and the pandemic or whatever, and then you have the fire in New Mexico, Dwight, right? Where that guy, we had the interview, he was talking about how they basically just took over everything and they declared martial law there for a while, and they were doing a bunch of crazy stuff there, and the Fed was coming in and like doing a bunch of crazy stuff in that local area there. And I think it was Mora, right? It was Mora.
What is your idea of the reasoning behind why they did that?
As a test run for this. It's the 2030 agenda. That's what it's a test run. It's a small, let's see what we can do. Let's see how it goes. Let's drill this with our people, like that kind of thing. Like they'll bring in their Fed people and then they just do a drill and they run everybody out of the town.
If you want to do a test run, do it in California or New York. I mean, those are maybe it's better to do it in a state where people. I mean, I'm still in a blue state, but you think you do it with people that are of the masses. You know, this state is very broken up. It's
not for the people per se, in my opinion. I think it's more of like, again, the climate change thing. Oh my God, wildfires, natural disasters, whatever. The government has to come in and take control of this area, and then whoopsie daisy, now we take your land, kind of thing, right? Like it's a test run for that kind of a thing across a broad range of states.
Yeah,
and so that's right. So the people come next, right? But like for this is like their own version of this kind of dry run of like, okay, like run the people off, like take the land, we do whatever, like that kind of a deal.
Yeah, but I mean that shit's been forever. I mean, they even talk about Trump, like there was a little old lady that wouldn't sell her fucking house and he wanted a fucking tower. I'm cussing again, gosh darn it. I'm not Flanders, bro. I'm trying, dude.
Over here, the fires.
Believe it or not, hey, dude, I work in a casino, so like it's there's no holds barred. Like I'm never in a place where I have to constrict my language. Like So, but anyways,
I don't normally say watch your language. It's just that you're using it like 5-6 times per sentence. And so I say, hey, just let's check ourselves for a second. And so it's not that you can't say it. It's more of a just kind of
I
let's be
know,
cool about it if we
now,
can.
now that I
If
do,
we can
like
keep ourselves happy without saying it, we should.
now that every time I do though, there's and
You're telling you're catching yourself. That's fun. That's
hey,
the way it should
my
be.
mom does it too though, and that's the thing. She's like, why do you? Because my mom's very Christian. She's very religious. I grew up very religious. What's John 3:16? Shirts, you know John 3:16?
Yeah.
Come on, I'm calling you out, man. What is
For
it?
God so loved the
Now,
world that he gave his only begotten Son, that whoever would believe in him would never perish but have everlasting life.
you're a freaking gangster, man. Good for you. Good for you. Kudos. I don't even
said all that without the F word involved.
without without an F word.
For God so effing loved the world.
Sorry. She's
I know.
she's going to sleep.
But the solution to everything that I was talking about just then, the solution to this is get people in office that are solid, populist-based Republicans that will take Biden out. And I mean impeach him. I mean get his ass out. And this will be another thing to add to the docket of all this other shit that he's been doing to shove this country off a cliff. And Marjorie Taylor Greene has been saying this on and on and on Twitter, and she needs to take this to the bank that, food security is national security, power grid security is national security, and it's 100% true. I mean, the Congress will sit there and have debates on whether or not, what to do about an EMP attack. That affects the electric grid. Joe Biden is literally an EMP. He's shoving us off a cliff. Like, we have no power if he gets what he wants within, like, several months. Like, no power at all. Like, nothing. No electric grid. It's gone. It's done. You have rolling blackouts, maybe. You have power blipping on and off from here and there. Like, he wants to destroy all of that. His administration does. He is a literal EMP bomb in DC, just setting it off and blowing up all of our power grid and all of our supply chain and everything else. It's like,
Wait, what's your source on that?
Impeach him and impeach anyone else who comes after him that shares in line with this. That's the only hard line stance that we got to take.
That's a pretty bold statement. He wants to shut down our EMP lines?
No, I'm saying he is an EMP, theoretically speaking, of course, right? Like he wants, just in the same way that people talk about like North Korea blowing up an EMP and turning off the power. It's like Joe Biden literally wants to shove us off a cliff with our electric grid to the point we won't have power. Like he is an EMP. Like he, theoretically, that's what he is. And so it's like in the same way you would see that as a threat, see Joe Biden as a threat to national security in that manner. He's hostile to the United States, totally, and get him out.
He's not hostile. He's just a puppet. He's just a puppet, and there's no impeaching him because the people that own him, they're not going to let that shit happen, dude. It's just not going to happen. Puppet masters for a reason, and they were fucking pissed when Trump got elected, and that's the one reasons that I fucking loved it. They own him. He shakes hands with invisible people that aren't even there. Like, you think this guy's really in control? You think that he's been a liar since
Like, what do we do now?
What do we do now? He has no clue what he's doing. He's just doing whatever his handlers tell him to
But
do.
exactly. But you've got to get rid of him because, and you've got to get rid of anyone else that would follow him.
And then where does it
Oh,
go?
Because
love
they're
you,
going to
Robyn.
just
Have a
keep
good
doing
one.
it. If you get
Kamala,
a good, if
and
you
then
get
after Kamala,
someone
we got
in,
Harris, or not Harris,
yeah,
Pelosi. I mean, you got to
that's
go
the
like
goal. Get Pelosi
four
out of
people
that
out.
position as speaker, and then you get a majority Republican in that are good Republicans. You get a good Republican in as the speaker. If you were to impeach the president and vice president, they're third in line, and they would have to take over for a while to just
We
get
got
the
a
country
we got a
back
new
from the
viewer. I
grip,
gotta
from the brink
actually
of
hold on a second.
total
Catch
Stop.
yourself.
crap
Stop.
mode.
Private and public. Welcome. Thank you for joining us. It says kudos to Marjorie Taylor Greene for being the only one to file impeachment papers for Biden. That will go nowhere. It needs to be done. Exactly.
Oh yeah. She filed
Operation
him the first
Baked
day he was there.
Potato is in effect.
Yes,
So
Operation
Private and
Baked
public also
Potato.
says we're in the brink of total collapse. And again, it stopped feeding the chat from YouTube to Restream. So that's why I'm like, oh, we got to catch this real quick here. All right, go ahead. Sorry.
But yeah, I like Bannon's idea of like, he wants to say get Trump as the speaker. I don't think that's going to happen. But get someone who is a good, solid, populist Republican who's not a rhino. And that would be the strategy. I was just listening to a bunch of candidates in a bunch of different states that are sort of purple in congressional. A lot of times they elect people. It's like sort of purple. It's sort of mixed, like half the states blue, half the states red in congressional districts. There's a ton of people that are getting a ton of support, that are getting a ton of votes in some of these places where these states are kind of purple. They're turning a lot more red. Like I said, I've heard a lot of interviews with a lot of these people. They're really, a lot of these people that are really populist, really good, conservative Republican types. They're climbing up the polls everywhere. I mean, every poll that I've looked at, it's always like just all on that end of the spectrum.
As much as I love Trump, I mean, I think he's a badass. But as much as I love him, he has caused so much divisiveness, and it's a hard thing to deal with. Try to think, well, is the divisiveness good, or should we just follow along with the prerogative? Like the prerogative's more peaceful, but it leads to negative things, and I don't want those negative things to happen. So, do we fight? Do we argue? I mean, maybe Trump's the guy that needs to bring us to that thing, but I mean, shit, do we really want that? I mean, I'm pretty comfortable right now. I like staying comfortable, even with all the corruption. Even with all the corruption.
And the other thing too is that they want to take Biden out. They keep talking all the time. Everybody's not supporting him on the Democrat side. Everybody's saying we need somebody else for 2024. We need somebody else.
We covered that
we
yesterday.
need somebody else now. And they keep talking about how they want him gone and how they're kind of sort of passively saying, like, oh, maybe we want him gone. Maybe we want him gone. Like, that sort of thing. They want to get rid of him. This is always the plan. They want to get rid of him after the midterms somehow, some way, whether they trip him down a flight of stairs or they just do the 25th Amendment and just get rid of him because he's just obviously out of it mentally. And then they lionize him so that, oh my golly, and then you put in Harris, and then it just makes it all the more difficult to politically and culturally push for an impeachment because, oh no, Biden fell down a flight of stairs. Oh, that's so sad. And Kamala had to take over. The first black lady president ever. It's like, no, you need to call them out for their crimes and call them out now and impeach them while we have momentum.
I feel because I feel like he's everybody's using him as a, what do you call
Hello,
it?
Eco Rider.
I think that he's just a stepping stone. I think that everybody's just abusing him, and he's obviously not
coherent
or well. So it's just sad.
He's getting what he deserves.
What does he deserve? He deserves to be fucking.
I'm sorry. I'm sorry, Rob. We're doing.
No, you're fine. Private and Public says Trump is too easily misled by those close to him. He has good instincts, but those closest to him keep him from good information. Susie says Shirts, the Slave Lake Fire 2011, Fire McMurray Fire of 2016, Okotoks flooding of 2013. Eager Rider says Twitter can kiss her ass
Sounds
because
very
they
familiar.
suspended her for a week for calling out leftists for their racism.
Okay, this is in Canada.
Yeah, Canada's fucked up. I mean, they can talk shit about us easily, but fucking
That's something
Trudeau.
I'll have to look up. I don't know if I'm all that familiar with
Trudeau,
some of those things in Canada there.
Trudeau is a straight up dictator, and he's not even trying to like hide it. Like he's
Oh no,
a
not anymore.
straight up dictator. Yeah, he's just like, what are you guys gonna do about it? We'll shut down your bank accounts. What are you gonna do? You know, he's just it's there's something going on. There's something going on that all the big hats in the little room talk about that they don't want us to know about. But I think I've got a pretty. I said pretty. So maybe not that good of a grasp, but I think I have a pretty good grasp of what these dudes are up to. There's their globalism agenda is not being hidden like it had been for the past 50 or so years.
Right.
Oh wow!
But now,
Holy crap! Did you guys you know who Johnny Pizarro is from Law and Order Organized Crime? Said that somebody walked up to his red Honda Civic, opened the door, blasted him in the head and neck, and then moved on or whatever. People were thinking that it was part of the show and had nothing to do with it. He actually just walked up to him and pretty much decapitated him. What the fuck?
what? No, well, if it was a gun, it was a gun.
Wow! Holy crap!
They thought the show they couldn't separate reality from.
He's saying Pizarro. Got fucking
Let
decapitated.
me pull this up real quick. I'm going to change the subject for a second. So it says crew member shot dead on Law and Order set in New York City cops. A crew member working in the Law and Order Organized Crime was fatally shot as the TV show's Brooklyn set early Tuesday in a scene that could have been pulled straight out of the script. Johnny Pizarro, a 31-year-old married dad of 3, had just started his shift and he was sitting in the driver's seat of a 2008 red Honda Civic and he was saving a parking space in Greenpoint around 5:15 a.m. when another man suddenly opened the driver's door and blasted him. It was crazy, said a distraught colleague of Pizarro who was saving the spot on North Henry Street near Norman Avenue for film crew's truck to use later. I didn't hear an argument or anything or nothing. It just quiet. It was just a quiet early morning. It was just a pop, and a gunman ran up towards Nassau Avenue. I only heard one bang, but I didn't know how many shots. I don't even know who could do this and why. This morning I woke up and saw police officers. I thought it was a fake crime scene. I didn't think it was a real tragedy. I tried to walk dogs here and saw the tape and thought, oh, it's a movie. The motive of the killing is unclear, but cops said that they're not ruling out anything, including whether it may have stemmed from a parking dispute. The flyer taped to the lamp pole on the street was titled "Stop Film Shootings Around McGorlick Park," and urged residents to complain to the local lawmakers about how the filming in our neighborhood is displacing our family. The area around McGorlick Park has had a weekly film shoot for months, taking away dozens of blocks for parking and displacing thousands of Greenpoint residents, while over 600 parking spots are recently removed underneath the BQE for the construction of a bike lane that no one uses. Local Joe Pedicino, 65, said CBS TV's Blue Bloods and FBI have also been filmed in the street in the past 6 months. They're getting killed with film shots. Some of the neighbors are really pissed off there's not enough parking. The film crews take up so much space and they don't even use it all. Several residents said they doubted parking would have led to the bloodshed, which rocketed the quiet area. This is one of the better streets in Greenpoint. Executions don't happen here. It's a quiet block. That's sad. I'm not going to finish this article. There's obviously it's this guy that got shot.
Oh.
That's crazy. That's ridiculous.
You think it's because of a crazy fan or some shit? Like,
I don't know. I just like I said, today I had no exact what I was gonna do for a show. So then it was like scrolling through different things, trying to find things, and you see something like that, and it's like, oh, Klaus, what's up, Klaus?
Well, Susie here was talking about like Canada and like the things with Canada and so forth, and just wanted to point out a little something about the Canadians and other people in other governments.
But what we are very proud of now is young generation, like Prime Minister Trudeau, President of Argentina, and so on, that we penetrate the cabinets. So yesterday I was at a reception for Prime Minister Trudeau, and
oh God,
I know that half of this cabinet, or even more half of this cabinet, are for our actually young global leaders of the World Economic Forum.
And they have to add. I think they had to add that like blaring of the mic into there, because YouTube tries to take all of these clips of these people down, and so you have to add like weird things to it sometimes to get rid of the algorithm because it's a shorter clip. Of course, they eventually do get kind of swept under the rug or put underneath of like 10,000 other weird videos.
Yeah, not in the left was, what's the one where the dude like mimics Joe Biden's face and he mimics Pelosi's face and he does all that shit.
The United Spot.
United Spot, yeah, United Spot, yeah.
I love the United Spot. They're so fun.
United Spot used to come up on my shit like on the regular, and then they changed their algorithm, or they fucking did something to where I've actually got to type in United Spot to watch United Spot. I've got to actually type in Mark Dice to watch Mark Dice. Like they throw me this fucking. I get meme the left, and I get like other shit, but like it's like you guys know my preferences, but you're going against what my preferences are on YouTube for whatever. Like I don't know.
We know the reason.
Oh,
well,
okay.
yeah, Yeah, yeah.
We feel the same way you do. We enjoy your company.
It's fucked up, man. It's not cool.
Well, since you've been denied a little bit of the United spot, I thought
Oh, I
maybe
could
this would
use
be.
some United spot. I could use.
I thought this would be a little appropriate.
Hello, peasants. Hey, eyes up here, perverts. I see you eyeballing my goodies. Stop looking at my bazumbas. They belong to Paul. Well, they used to belong to Paul. Nowadays, he doesn't even notice them at all. He hasn't touched them or looked at them in years. He only cares about his Instagram whores. He never looks at me. He's always drunk. He never has time for me. He never touches me. We never talk. He sleeps on the couch, and when he comes to bed, he sleeps on the floor. He never comes home, and when he does, all he wants to do is watch Pornhub. He won't kiss me because he says my dentures smell weird. It's not my fault my dentures smell weird. He stopped smelling my farts. Paul used to love smelling my farts. He used to say, "Oh my gosh, your farts smell so good. I miss those days." I stopped wearing Depends because Paul said that wearing Depends is gross. But he didn't even notice. He just walked in the door and said, "Ew, it smells like sitting here." I'm so embarrassed. I tried so hard, but nothing is ever good enough for him. I have to drink vodka all day just to feel normal. All he says is, "Hey Nancy, what's wrong with your eyebrows?" "Hey Nancy, why do you smell like mushrooms?" Or, "Hey Nancy, your makeup looks like cake frosting." Or, "Hey Nancy, I'm gonna throw up. I don't deserve this. I wanna cry, but I can't because of the Botox. I just want a man that loves the smell of my dentures. A man that accepts my Depends and enjoys the smell of my moist, juicy farts. I'm so alone. Anyways, I gotta get back to my extremely expensive vacation in Italy. Please send me money so I can fight for women's rights. Good night, peasants!
That's the United Spot. Everybody should check out the United Spot and give them a good subscription. Thank you very much. The United Spot.
Oh my god.
Yeah, but
I have reached out to the United Spot trying to get them to talk to me so that we can actually see if we can't get them to come around here.
Dude,
Whatever.
if you get the United Spot
let's
on
see,
here,
one of these
bro, I would be like, I would
I'm trying.
Dude,
I don't know if they're not wanting to read messages. If they get too many messages, they don't see certain things. So I have to just like keep on top of it and keep on sending them, more and more messages.
Yeah, dude, if the United Spot was on here, I fucking love that guy. And like, but the fucking the YouTube algorithm has quit. Let me like I said, I gotta look it up. I gotta look Mark Dice too, and Mark Dice isn't even he's not even he's not nearly as controversial as well. What it depends on your viewpoint, but I mean, the United Spot is straight up talking shit. But Mark Dice is like he's like, okay, let's listen to a little bit of both, and like why Mark Dice quit being in my
Stray Cat says, "Oh my gosh, I couldn't get past whatever was happening on her forehead. I couldn't look away."
It's the eyebrows for Paul. Well, it used to be for Paul.
I need to stop watching teppanyaki videos.
If you go over to Rumble, Mark Dice has a pretty good following over on Rumble. I always watch his videos on Rumble because they'll always show up.
Speaking of Rumble, there's a couple of Rumble channels that y'all should subscribe to just in case something ever happens to this channel. I have one down below, and AmericaShirts all does well.
Yes, I have 2 new videos. They're excerpts of this show, as a matter of fact. If you didn't get to catch some of the previous shows, or if you just want to hear my little rant that I did from an excerpt of some of the shows, I have those. I have 2 of them posted. Well, one of them is like a story and then a rant, and then the other one is going over the Biden texts that were YouTube-friendly Biden text messages, because the rest of that shit was, whoa, holy cow,
Stories
not
are nice.
YouTube-friendly. What's that?
I said stories are nice. You should do stories, man.
Oh, it's not like it's info that I got. It's not like a make believe story or anything. Like it's a thing that I at that time that I got from it's a little bit of info that I got. It's not like the biggest deal in the world, but it's I thought it was relevant and important to state, and I did, and I talked about it. And it's on Koolfrogg's as well, and of course I've excerpted that out, clipped that out, I should say, I guess. And an excerpt of that is found on my Rumble channel, which is AmericaShirts, capital A, capital S, all together, one word. If you type that into Rumble, you will find it right there. And you just go to my channel, and it is the latest of the 2 videos that I posted. So there you go.
Okay, so I'm just some shit out there.
Private in Public says you sounded just like her on that video.
Well, it's not that hard. It's talk like this. You have to be gentle.
What age were you guys? I don't know if this happened to you, but there was I was watching like a Goldilocks or some shit with my niece, and I realized that fairy tales had a very, very deeper meaning than what they were portrayed as. And did you guys ever realize that? Is that just me? Is it am I weird?
Deeper meaning, as in
the like the stepmother represents something, and her hair represents something, and the prince the prince stallion dude represents something. It's all representative of other things than what actually like. It's not just they're not just fairy tales. They're like their life lessons. And if you like I was watching Goldilocks, I can't tell you the life lesson I learned behind, but I realized that there was a life lesson behind the story that was being told. I was like, oh shit, this ain't just about some broad with long hair. Like there's really meaning behind it. There's they're trying to teach us something. And I mean, I guess it goes the same with today's movies, but they're trying to indoctrinate things that are evil. Whereas in the past, the fairy tales, they spoke truth and peace, and that's the only difference, really. But I mean, there's things, but behind all of those stories, there is an idea, and I just watch those movies or read the books or whatever, and think of it. Think, what are they really saying? They're really saying something else. The Beauty and the Beast, Aladdin, all that shit. There's a message there. There's a message that's not the message that. I mean, it's nice to just watch it as a movie, too, but there's a message and all of that shit.
Chad is still talking about the video from United Spot.
Yeah, they are.
Oh my god. If you want to laugh your ass off like that every day for a minute, like, you should totally go over there and subscribe to them. Because if you're not, you're freaking crazy if you don't. Like, holy crap. That comedy gold is right in front of you. Go subscribe.
Chat's having fun. It took a life of its own, like something out of Beetlejuice.
I wish I could watch chat, but I can barely talk without.
I seriously, Restream has been messing up on me so much in the last week, and not allowing chat from YouTube to tie itself to the Restream.
Yeah.
That Restream is going to be dumped at the end of the month. I canceled it last night, but it's already paid for. So because it's paid for until the 11th of next month. The 12th of next month, when we do a stream, we will be over on StreamYard. Fuck off, restream.
Yeah, you could probably like shoot yourself, but you have to be like a computer program.
I mean, there is OBS, but that's like another level of stuff.
I was thinking of doing that as well or whatever, but yeah, it's another level of experience that needs to be, I need to actually do a little bit more work. Not that I haven't used it before. If you actually check the stuff that I've actually done that's called the Pickerel, I've actually done several different episodes using OBS. It works better for recording as opposed to doing a live stream. For me anyway. Not that I haven't, because like Grimsbar uses OBS with his Discord, so then he gets people to go into his Discord, and anybody that pops into the certain area gets actually recorded to his streams. It's a little different. Could be fun to try maybe. That's just a maybe.
Did you get? I finally put a avatar, or whatever they call it.
No, I like it. I like your infinity symbol. That's awesome.
I was just gonna ask that. I was gonna say, did you guys see it as infinity, or did you guys see it as eyeballs?
No, I see the infinity logo. That's what I see.
Yeah.
What do you think, AmericaShirts?
Yeah, you can see it both ways. I think you see it both ways.
It
looks like a mask. Like it looks like something for like a superhero. Like they have like the thing around the eyes, right? The mask around the eyes.
No, I just did a quick Google for an infinity symbol, and I threw it on there because better to be a shitty Google infinity symbol they ripped off than a
yes, Stray Cat Sway. Thank you for the sub. Everybody that's in chat, don't forget, subscribe, like, share, do all those YouTube like things, and help us out, get that algorithm up.
And do go over to Rumble, because again, YouTube is doing finagly shit, as we just talked about. So if anything does end up happening in the future, because oh my God, you're too much of a certain side of an aisle, or you're a terrorista or whatever, make sure to go to Rumble and subscribe, so that way, if anything does end up happening, again, like Koolfrogg said earlier, to the both of us, that way you know what's up and you know what's going on. You don't lose contact.
It's too bad that it's not tying, that my chat's not tying. Stray Cat's Way, it says a masked hero, and then put up the infinity logo there.
Oh, there you go. You could call yourself Infinity, Dwight Zombie Infinity. Be like your own brand of superhero there.
Private Public says it does look like a mask now that you mention it.
Ha! There it is. Ha ha. It is a mask.
So I think we can just kind of chit chat if we want. Otherwise, we can talk Steve Bannon.
Oh, Bannon? The trial today. Did you have something on Bannon to pull up? Is that what you were doing? Or
no, there's a little something out of the Gateway Pundit, but it's not like it's like full of information or whatever. It's kind of a lame article. So if you had something,
there wasn't
better,
like a ton of things that went on today,
right? I'm assuming they're still continuing, just selecting jury or whatever.
Right, and they're going over the different, what they'll be charged with, how are we going to conduct the court hearing, on and on type of thing. They wanted to extend it for a month.
They're not going to allow him to actually fight anything. They're just going to actually. The articles.
Really quick. Wait,
what's that?
Let me say something really quick, because every time a certain website's mentioned or a certain something's mentioned, my internet goes to shit for like 1 minute, and then after the minute passed, It goes back to fucking normal. And it's crazy. Am I crazy? Like after I don't want to say the word, but after Shirts mentioned his site, like you guys were talking like, for 1 minute or maybe 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 1 minute, whatever. But there's something behind that, right? Is there? Am I crazy?
Oh
Am I
yeah, I
crazy?
believe that. I believe
Like,
that. I mean,
and
No,
like
you
if you use a
you're
Google
crazy,
device,
but you're right.
if you use a Google device, I've had a Google device. That's what it does. Well, I have one. That's what it does. Like if you look up something or whatever, it'll go like batshit or whatever and try to discourage you from doing it. And there's actual documentation where they talk about, they try to
like
make
fucking
when you
Twitter.
search on YouTube or Google or use a Google device at all, even if you use a different search engine than Google, if you're on a Google device, they will try and slow it down on purpose to discourage you from going to certain websites or doing certain things to stop it from loading. And that's documented. So that's a thing they do. Like they admitted it in documentation. I'd have to like go back through a bunch of shit and pull it up if I had to. But
you guys can hear me
they
clearly
said it.
now. Well, besides my speech, but am I seeing clearly? Can you hear me clearly right now?
Yeah.
Yeah. Don't say the RUMB word, and if you say that, then it all goes to shit. and it happened earlier when another I'm not saying don't say it, but I'm just saying like it's fucked up. Like
It is. It's
they're
messed up.
backtracking
Private
it.
and Public says Good Logic had some good info earlier. He's sitting in a courtroom taking notes. I did catch the first thing that he had put out. I seen that he had another one, and then I
He's
caught like
doing
the
very
first
well
couple
covering it.
10 minutes of his live stream before I went
So is Viva.
and joined a different live myself. I am a wrench for him, so I mean, I have the tendency to try watching him. I don't always get the chance to actually continue.
Yeah, but he did a really great job in this live stream tonight. I watched a little bit of it.
Yeah.
Like the first
I
part
watched
of it.
like the first 10 minutes. That's all I
And he
caught.
went over everything that went on, and it was, I mean, it's not anything huge, but,
What
he
were we
explained
talking
it well
about again?
enough.
Good Logic, Joe Neerman.
I don't know who that is.
He's a lawyer that is from New Jersey, and he does live streams about law stuff. Sometimes he does other different things. And now he's gone down. He did go for the Ghislaine Maxwell trial. He was there in the courtroom for that. And now he's in the courtroom for Bannon.
Yeah, he's a very interesting man. That's for sure. I changed the way I thought about certain things after because I followed him for the first one of the first followers back when he first started doing things, and he would actually have people write down, or if they had a question, they'd be like, he'd have them actually put in the chat, super chat, so that way he would actually read it. He's very, very interesting guy. Yeah, he's fun to listen to. If you get a chance, you should check him out. So Stray Cat says, "Oh yes, I caught the tail end of Joe's stream. He was bewildered at the sorcery of the touch lamp at Rob's. It's a way of opening your eyes. He really seriously does." Yeah, I really liked his Maxwell coverage. His Maxwell coverage was gold.
Because he was there all the time. He was,
Well,
people there
you
for
guys
that.
do you get any people that get shadow banned from your YouTube? I'm still using DuckDuckGo.
Hello, Law Patrol. The Law Patrol. Everybody should check out the Law Patrol. He's cool. He's got some fun, interesting stuff. He's always got some good stuff going on. He says Joe is pretty pissed that it took 7 hours for the pre-video to go up.
Oh.
Dang.
Boy. I do have a little thing from Bannon here. He came outside after their thing.
Okay.
Their stuff was done the day. Oh, I don't have the video full anyway. and he did a little. This is Jack Pacific said Bannon went full Irish outside the courthouse today and torched everybody. So this is his little rant.
And the lead up to it. I challenge Benny Thompson today to have the courage to come to this courthouse. If he's going to charge somebody with a crime, he's going to be man enough to show up here or send somebody like Shifty Schiff or Fang Swalwell. Or send Liz Cheney, send somebody in the committee that has the guts to come here and accuse somebody of a crime. It is outrageous. And then to sit there and try to get a complete hearing and they won't bring in any testimony about FBI involvement, any testimony about DHS involvement, any testimony about any other involvement, and what's driving this. The total and complete illegitimacy of Joe Biden. Trump won. Joe Biden illegitimate.
Pause it.
50% of the American people
yes,
believe that.
because you know
we're not contesting that Joe Biden actually won. He is the most legitimate president ever with the most votes. Period. No contest. Go ahead.
We believe in the all holy Democrat Party. We bow to our dear leaders. Yes, they're much better than us. If only we could strive to be as holy and beautiful and wonderful as they.
Yes. Praise it, preacher. If only we could be as fucking glorified.
Exactly.
That today, and they believe that not from hearing from mainstream media, from our great colleagues in the media, because they won't show any of it. That information has been suppressed from day one, but almost 50% of the American people believe it. You can't govern this country if you're not looked at as legitimate. This is why no head of state in the world treats him with any respect. This is why the Chinese Communist Party treats him with no respect. This is why the Saudis embarrass him and humiliate him while he's over with the fist bump. You don't do that to a legitimate president of the United States. We have a constitutional crisis in this nation right now, and they're charging me with a crime. Have the guts and the courage to show up here and say exactly why it's a crime. Benny Thompson is a total, absolute disgrace, and this show trial they're running is a disgrace. And I will promise you one thing. When the Republicans have a sweeping victory on November 8th, starting in January, you're going to get a real committee. You're going to get a real committee with a ranking member who will be a Democrat. You will have a minority council that will be a Democrat. And this will be run appropriately, and the American people will get the full story. I got to tell you, I'm totally so ashamed of the Congress today for sending staffers over here to try to sell their case. They should be here, the senior people in the committee.
Ridiculous bullcrap.
Hey, I just like AOC's spicy butt, man. Muy caliente. He didn't say that, but he should have. Hot like a tamale. That guy, I don't know if I should hate that guy or not. Like he's too much. You know what I mean? Like liberal hive on YouTube, liberal hive mind. I like content.
See, you said that word and you got cut. You're still glitching there, bud. Your whole sentence got trashed. The robots ate you.
I won't say the LBER, but that dude has a channel, man, and it's good. It's good content, but he's so fucking hateful. It's like I can understand to be mad and upset and angry because I am too, man. I'm totally mad, upset, and angry. I totally am, but his hatefulness is just what causes him to get banned off shit. Like he's too angry. Like just take it back like a one little notch. You know, don't he's hateful. Like okay, I'm about to get throttled here. He's hateful like a fucking liberal. And it's not cool. It's not cool, man. It's not cool. He plays their same hateful game, and nah, you don't fucking join him. You beat him, man. Fuck that quote.
Private and Public says, go watch the
Oh,
reason
there
for
it is.
what he's doing. He's not angry, he's acting. He acts that way on purpose.
Yeah, but he's very angry, and you can feel it. You can
I would disagree. I disagree with that, and I disagree with what's his face in the chat. I do. I respectfully disagree.
You're cool, shirts. You'll always just respectfully disagree. And Koolfrogg, you're the shit, man. Like letting me fucking kick it on your fucking channel. I'm just some drunk guy that lives in a trailer in the middle of nowhere, and I appreciate that like my drunken opinion like means something to you every once in a while. And you
Private Public says he's as angry as I am at what's going on in this country. That's cool. No worries. Exactly. We all feel the same exact way. This country's not being worked out, being treated correctly. We're all being treated like we're like pawns in this big, huge game of chess, and they're just going to destroy us as they continue to do what they're doing.
hey, the most powerful the most powerful piece in the game of chess is the pawn. If you know how to use it right. If you use the pawn, hey, the pawn can get to the other side, be the fucking queen. You just play the game right, bro. All you gotta do. It's not my bad if you don't know how to play chess. Because we're all playing it, motherfucker. Sorry.
Susie says, well, all the speakers have some charisma, even Bannon. Yes, everyone has been taken advantage of by our government. I agree.
Yeah.
Yeah, just taxes alone is getting taken advantage of, but to what degree is she speaking of?
We'll see if she replies. I did give Susie a wrench because there was nobody else that was a wrench that was in chat.
What does a wrench mean? I've
She got modded over on the YouTube side.
Okay. Yeah, because I saw wrenches and like all these different symbols, and I was trying to do the YouTube thing like anonymously, and I typed in my email address that I've used for 14 years, and they were like, "Is your number blah 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 star star star, and ends in this?" And I was like, "How the fuck do these fucking people? How do they know this shit?" Like, it pissed me off. So I said cancel. No, I don't want YouTube to. I already know, anyways. I guess, but I was just so pissed off that, like, how do they know my current phone number? Like, it disturbed me. It bothered me. Like they're like, we've got all the dots, dude. You can't avoid us. There's, I was like, you're in the system. You're in the system. And
See what these guys are talking about.
And so I remember that. And then I realized like a tomcat is a
Oh
thing, and
my
I kind of
God,
can
they're
remember it, but I
still
always just have to think
It's
about how
still
many letters they
going.
have.
So you have got a
Jeez.
mathematical mind. Like that is
Probably.
so crazy.
Toy
Are
box
you
brain
good at math?
and
Oh, I love math.
I'll see. Yeah. No,
Killed by a cum shot have been hanging out
I
in
can
this
I'm autistic
chat
with math
the whole time.
I'm serious. Ask White Rabbit when she's on here.
build on
Because
Divinity.
it's like I'm weird.
Chat.
Like she'll say like you're weird with math. Like I'll see two numbers and I'll give you an answer. And she's like, how did you do that? I'm like, I don't know. Like I just see two numbers and you put them together like 352 and 479 and I'll be like, that's 4, 7, it's 8, something 12 or something like that. And I'm like, I don't know how I do it. I have no idea how.
Well, it's really they say maybe you learned to count from 0. So I've done this with my kids, and I learned it a long time ago. I was always into numbers and math anyway, so it doesn't help me, but it will definitely help anybody who's watching, who's going to have kids, or who knows somebody that is going to have kids.
Dude,
Make sure they teach their
he gave
children
two numbers. He gave two numbers, and then he's like, "I'm so smart. Like I'm so smart. No, not talking shit about the expert, but he's like, they'd give me two numbers like this, and I'd be like, 479 plus 113 equals whatever, and I'd give him the answer. That was
Yes.
Oh
my God.
Exactly.
That needs clipped.
Stupid. That was so stupid. That was the dumbest shit. Like, I'm really fucking smart, and I can do math really good, but not after I give myself my own math fucking problem. I give myself my own math problem, and I don't even. Oh, fucking sorry. What up? That's just fucking douchebag. No, he's cool. I mean, I got.
I like the expert. He's one of the best.
Hey, he wouldn't have said something stupid like that if he wasn't talking to Divinity, and if he didn't know we were spying on him, he definitely wouldn't have said something stupid like that.
Oh, you'd be surprised.
like, come on, bro. Come on, dude. Really? Oh, what a fucking douche. Did you clip that, Shirts? I hope you clipped it, man.
No, I didn't.
Oh, it's
clip it, but
it's
we
now
can always go
recorded,
back.
so I can actually go cut it whenever I
Well,
want.
if he leaves a VOD, I'm gonna clip that exact moment. I'm gonna be like, hey, here's where you were stuck in Divinity's fucking insert adjective. Sorry. I cut myself off. Hey, I cut myself off, Frog. Hey, I did good, bro. I cut myself off. I didn't say it. I didn't say it,
Right,
man.
you're so funny, my man. See all these people. Everybody's they all, like everybody knows all these other streamers. Like, oh yeah, this person, that person, whatever. And it's so fun.
Dude, bro,
Bro.
I want to stream, man, but fuck, it's gotta suck like in the beginning when it's like no one's listening to you, like because I'd have to do like a solo stream,
When I said the thing about chess, the Law Patrol Hayden stepped in and says, "Not true. Some people are playing checkers while the rest of us are playing varying difficulties of chess."
Wait, what was that in reference to?
Earlier, when I said that it's just a big game of chess and we're all pawns and they're gonna just take us out one day.
Okay. Yeah. Hey, power to the fucking pawns, man. Power to the pawns. Us dumb little fucking idiots that are just like sitting around just all dirt. What's great about the left is that they want all the control, right? But they don't want any guns, which is kind of a bad move. Because if you want all the control, you should probably have a lot of guns. And the right's got all the guns. So, if shit goes to shit, good job with your gun control. I hope you get it, you stupid fucks. Sorry, that was inner
That
thought.
that was a very constructive time to actually put that in there. So yeah, there you go. Chat's talking to themselves. I love it when chat talks to themselves. It's great.
Dude, I talk to other chat when I'm in rooms, and it's weird. Like, is sometimes the what the host, I guess you'd call them, they'll like get bugged by it. Like, why is chat talking to chat? But I'm like, no, this is what it's all about, man. This is like, we're all like thank you for hosting the show, but like we should discuss things amongst ourselves. Like, it's not just the dudes on the TV. I know it's not a TV. That might sound stupid, but whatever. But
On the
the way,
telly.
the way I tried to correct myself sounds stupider than having just left it at TV. But anyways, weed's legal in my state, so fuck you guys. All right.
What's up, Derms?
Oh, hey, there's Jeremy. He's probably been lurking this whole time like he normally does. Certain streams,
No, it just maybe, but it just jumped from 6 to 7, so I'm guessing he
maybe he's
just
just
showed up.
joined in.
Just my thought. Maybe it's somebody else that showed up. That's awesome too. It says that there's 6 people watching. There's only 3, 4 of them that are talking. So
Yeah, he says, "Hey, what's up, everyone?" Yeah, so he probably just hopped in. He normally says in the chat like, "Hi, I've been lurking" or something like that. So I just kind of assumed he's a lurker.
Hey, if you guys can get a lurker, that means you're saying something right. Saying something correct.
the apostle said that he was going to sit back and have us streaming. He's watching from somewhere. He's probably
That's
got
not
2 or
weird.
3 streams.
I'm just kidding.
He's probably got 2 or 3 streams up. Hey, I like that guy. He's one of the best. He's such a good conversationalist, and you can have almost any type of conversation with him.
Conversationalist.
He's one of the best.
Conversationalist.
The Stray Cat says, "Hi there" to all the lurkers in the back.
Right.
Private and Public says, "Koolfrogg, thanks for including me in the convo. You're cool. Yep, thank you. Thank you for joining us. Don't forget to subscribe, like, and do all those fun YouTubey things."
Yeah.
I try to bring in chat as much as I possibly can.
Dude, don't be
last
corny
night I was
about
having
it. Don't be corny
last
about it.
night I was having issues, and it wasn't tying to restream like it's not doing tonight completely.
Please
and
like and subscribe. Please,
do it.
You can do, but no.
Like, subscribe.
No, you
do
can
all
do
those
better
YouTube
than
like
that.
bangs.
No, tell them not to like and subscribe. Say,
Yeah.
if you like and subscribe,
Even if you hate me, just do it. Don't ask. Just do it. Don't think twice. Just do it.
Say fuck you. Don't fucking like and subscribe me. I don't like you either. And then we'll do it. That's how this world works right now, unfortunately.
I mean, right? I mean,
everything is backwards.
Hit the like, smash it.
Smash that like button with your fist. Ooh. Come on, be like Thor. Smash that
full force punch.
With the heck? Smash that like button. Come on, we can do this. I'm trying to help out.
Yeah, good. You've got it down now. Now like and subscribe. But I shouldn't. I should wait.
Do it.
Hey, never seen Star Wars. Because my girlfriend at the time was a fucking Star Wars girl. But
Germ says hit him with reverse psychology. God, I hate all of you so much. Fuck
hey,
off.
I will reverse your reverse psychology, dude. I'll engineer that shit. I know what you're saying, and even when you don't know what you're saying, I'll do it.
Do it.
Sorry.
Do it.
I'll do it. No, I smoked a little bit, and it got me a little. Yeah, when
just a little bit.
When weed's legal, dude, like weed's legal here, so like it fucking it's got on the package.
Easy
Like
to get.
they give it to me, and they're like, here's your medicine," and I'm like, why you guys got a front like that, bro? Like, hey, we all know we're just buying it to get it stoned or whatever. But anyways, they're like, here's your medicine, and so I take my medicine, and anyways, it's like fucking 28%, or no, this one was like 27 point something percent THC, and back when I was younger, I'd smoke a whole bowl and I'd be all right. But this shit, you take 3 hits and Jesus, you're like, it's
This medical grade stuff that's around these days is so much more potent than what we grew up to. That's for
dude.
sure.
When we grew up, it was like 1 or 2%.
weed.
Yeah, Mexican weed is what we call it. Cause I'm from New Mexico, so I'm allowed to say it was Mexican dirt weed. All right, don't anybody get their fucking feelings hurt.
I'm gonna,
but yeah,
unlike it just so I can like it again with the ferocious gusto this time.
Anyways,
That's awesome.
that's the shit I grew up smoking, And this shit, it's like, okay, so
Susie says skunk, Dwight, skunk.
Right? Skunk, no, I'm poor, bro. Get yeah, smoke Mexican.
Robots got him again.
Messing me. Y'all up. Right,
Stray Cat says I smashed it with the hi-ya sound like it deserves.
Perfect. Do that every time. Do it like really loud in your house so it wakes up everybody if they're sleeping.
Jim says he's in Arizona. Mexican dirt weed is a common thing.
yeah, it is a common thing, and it took. I maybe after the 2 times of saying it, they'll quit giving me shit for it, darling me or whatever. But
Germs better be voting for Kerry Lake for governor. Just saying.
Yeah, right.
Ha ha.
That's one thing we didn't cover. Kerry Lake.
Hey, but
based as hell. That woman.
Just to end my shit. I know I'm ranting, but just to end it, 1 hit of the shit that they sell now is like 10 hits of the shit before.
Oh, you had to smoke a whole 1/8 bag to get close to a hit.
Yeah. 1 hit now, a fucking 8. No, I never bought an 8. 8 is for Coke. I'd buy quarters.
We don't talk about that stuff.
Coca-Cola?
Coca-Cola?
Yeah, Coca-Cola. I'd buy dime bags or quarters or fucking half ounces and shit. Yeah, you were on a whole. You obviously don't do fucking weed, but you have done. Yeah, never mind. I'm shut off for the rest of the stream. Go ahead. What you guys got to talk about?
I think we're probably done.
It's
Really.
I was gonna say we were about 3.5 hours in. I think
Right.
we're probably good for the night. If there's anybody in chat that
Okay.
wants to ask any questions, go ahead and ask them within the next few minutes here, or whatever, and we'll see what we can do for you. Otherwise, we're gonna close up shop. One little square inch of by inch of edible. I like edibles. Edibles are fun. Sometimes they take a little bit longer to get into your system. Stray cat. I can't even say the name. Stray cat sway. Best I've tried is in Colorado. Know someone in Mexico who says the same.
Hey, if I'm crazy about the throttling, that means that they're only throttling people that don't have the ability to pay for either to pay for or have access.
You're the only one that's joined us that gets that much of a throttle, other than maybe Robyn. She's had some issues or whatever, but
Well, I'm just saying maybe
hopefully next month when we actually switch ourselves over from this restream crap to the StreamYards or whatever, we get better effect and won't have such an issue.
just tell me, quit being so paranoid, Frog. Just say that.
Why are you so paranoid, dude?
I don't know. I think I'm kind of crazy.
I don't know. I'm just paranoid.
God, who wouldn't be nowadays? Dear God, there's a camera every 2 inches anywhere anymore.
Well, yeah, I mean, I sit here and it's like there's a camera pointing at me. There's a camera over there pointing at me. There's my phone sitting upside down, so there's another camera sitting there pointing at me.
I work at a casino, bro. I work at a casino. Like, shit. Talk about cameras pointed at you. And then I got duct tape over mine.
We got this coming election period here in South Dakota. It's going to change. Hopefully, it changes or whatever, where we actually go recreational, and we won't have to worry about the laws that are around here. Because it's really hard to actually find. I don't know why. It just is. Doesn't look like anybody has any questions coming out of chat, so we're going to actually end the show. Everybody check out AmericaShirts, ourfirst.com. Bookmark that so that way in the future, once he actually gets it up and running and working again, you can actually get something from that. You can use promo code Koolfrogg and get 15% off of anything in the store. Don't forget to check out his Rumble page.
Yep. 2 new videos, excerpts from the show that are my rants and things of that nature from me. So go check those out and give those a view if you haven't seen those. They're well worth the watch.
Thank you for joining us, Dwight.
Excuse me.
And if you want to support me immediately, you can go to buymeacoffee.com/Koolfrogg. Throw anything in there, leave a comment. I'll read the comments next day live on air. Otherwise, make sure you check out that Rumble channel and the Locals channel, as if something happens to this channel, we will be there. Thank you very much. Everybody have a wonderful night.
Later, peeps.
Later.
She's doing it.
I don't want to live on this planet anymore.